Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all doing well. It is time for a Warhammer 2 tournament, and we are in the top 4. Let's take a look at the brackets. Let's break it down. Let's see how it's going. I know, the soundtrack is really good. It's very, very Tolkien-esque. A lot of the soundtrack for Warhammer 2 especially really kind of had that Lord of the Rings feel, which certainly makes sense. They added elves and all that sort of good stuff. Now, the first match will be kicking off in just a moment. Just have to get the players into the lobby. And in the meantime, what we could do is we could take a look at the old brackets. So heading on over to the Tavern, the tournament has been quite a bit of fun today. On the bottom side of the bracket, we have Hadri's versus Razel. Hadri's, of course, with a 2-0 victory over Big JP, and then also defeated Clear 2-1. And Razel with a victory over Chosen One 2-0, and then also defeating Quaden, and it looks like in the midding Vindemark as well. So certainly a very strong run for both of these fine players. As we scroll up, we have Evenstar on the top side. Evenstar certainly had a very tough bracket. Evenstar did defeat Takoyaki here 2-0. He had to face Dactyr, who's a very, very strong Warhammer 2 player, and then also Loopy in the beginning. So a very, very strong run of games. But if you guys don't remember, Evenstar was the world champion in Warhammer 2. So we had the big world championships at the end, and Evenstar did just barely defeat Alfredinho in the grand finals with a 4-3. So Human Boy and Dr. Jellyfish are playing here. The winner of this series will be going on to face Evenstar, and right now we are currently going to be doing Hadri's versus Razel. So let's get this party started. Got to get the names a little bit more kind of powerful here. Those are looking mighty, mighty weak. Hopefully the nameplate will work. This is the Warhammer 3 nameplate, so I think it should fit. We'll have to see. We will have to see. So we got Hadri's in here. Razel will be joining shortly. The first map is going to be the classic Oakenhammer, the multiplayer map, old multiplayer maps here in the old Warhammer 2. And it's going to be back. How you guys doing? Should be fine. Yes, correct. No pass, I guess. And Razel's on the way in, and we'll be getting started in just a second. They can do their picks and bans. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we'll get to see some cool Skaven, some Empire today, some of the factions that we don't get to see at all in Warhammer 3. 78 Legendary Lords tournament. Dude, it is going to be wild. You know what one of the most wild things will be once we get the old world added back into Warhammer 3 is going to be the faction wars. Dude, faction wars are going to be nuts. I don't think King of the Dead is playing too much. I'm sure he'll come back once the Immortal Empires gets added back in. He messages me every now and then, just says hi and things like that, but I don't know if he's actively playing. I'm new to the series and find the High Elves boring. Which other factions are considered noob-friendly? You know, I always think that Warriors of Chaos are very good for beginners because they're very powerful in melee. Like Greenskins too, you could just spam a ton of good infantry and you're usually going to be solid. Greenskins do have a high skill ceiling though. They have a lot of mobility and a fair amount of squishy units if you really want to kind of get your hands dirty. Yeah, it's been great. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, some Dark Elves. That'd be fun to see too. Yeah, beginner-friendly factions, yeah, usually just like melee-heavy factions I think are easier, just kind of like with good cost-effective infantry that you could just kind of slow push on somebody with. Like with Chaos, you can basically just go for like a Chaos Warrior Marauder front line, which is pretty durable, and then you just go for some sort of flanking, some Hounds and or Chaos Knights, whatever, and that's going to be good in a multitude of matchups. Yeah, High Elves are actually widely considered to be one of the worst factions in the game, like hands down. So I would not recommend High Elves for beginners. High Elves are definitely a harder civ to play. Still in that Age of Empires mindset. A harder faction to play, I should say. Perfect. So Razel is on the way, looking good. And yeah, we are all set. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to the stream. We got Hadri's back. If you guys don't know who Hadri's is a long-time veteran of Warhammer 2. If we take a look at the Hall of Fame, actually, so we could jump over and look at the Hall of Fame real quick while we wait for the players to get ready. So in the Warhammer 2 Hall of Fame, I don't think Hadri's won an ECL, although he was in the grand finals of several of the ECLs. He was in the top 8 in terms of the qualifier system. But Hadri's was a multi-time Faction War winner. So he won Faction War 3 with the Skaven. He won Faction War 6 with the Skaven as well. So he was able to win that big event several times and is pretty much always, around the top 4, top 2 of these big Warhammer 2 tournaments. He's always there, just competing. Very, very strong player for sure. All right, so let's load back in here, get that set up. You missed all the old school names? Yeah, I know, a lot of them came out of the woodworks today. So we are on Oakenhammer, and the players can do their picks and bans. I'll let them know. Good luck, have fun. Picks and bans, go, go. Excellent. So, curious to see. I hope we get to see some unorthodox stuff. I hope we get to see like a wild Empire pick or like Skaven, something like that. I'm trying to remember the meta a little bit. Warriors of Chaos versus Lizardmen was a matchup that you saw fairly often, for sure. Old World is back. I just got engaged, and I had 2 job interviews this week. Praise Sigmar, dude. Sigmar has blessed this ravaged possum body indeed. Thank you for the tenor, man. Really, really appreciate the $10. What's the format? Best of 2. So best of 3 for the semifinals, and then the grand finals here are going to be best of 5. So we have 2 best of 3s today, which in Warhammer 2 can take a little bit longer due to army building. I find that people take longer to build their armies. And then we have a best of 5 grand final as well. And that is going to be that. Hey, happy birthday, Laredo. Cheers. Happy birthday. Yes, this is your birthday present, for sure. Possum King, greatly appreciate that. No, dude, don't. We come back to Warhammer 2, okay? We're here for a good time. We're not here for the vampire count mirror matches. We're not here for that stuff. No, we want the good stuff. Okay, so Hadries goes Chaos and Lizards for his 2 picks. And we are going to get Dark Elves for Razel. Very cool. And it's going to be Chaos for Hadries. So let me actually see if I can pull this up real quick. I have some fun graphics I can use. It's got to kind of practice there a little bit. And I'm being tagged in something. Let's go ahead and see what it is. Ah, perfect. Thank you, Andy. Greatly appreciate that. And boom. 1 sec. I'm just setting up the old picks and bands graphic. Okay, let's see how this looks. All right, so got to get this going. Hadries versus Razel. That's right, but we don't have the map pool, unfortunately. So that's going to be just a little bit empty for now. We can just kind of leave that as is because it is not synced with the old Warhammer 2. So for Hadries, he picks Chaos. Let me switch this 1 sec, guys. All right. So for Hadries, no, he is not Nurgle. There was a problem. No, there was no problem. He is going to be going Lizardmen. Lizardmen. And then his other pick is going to be Chaos. Not Chaos, Warriors of Chaos. Perfect. It's tripping me out. I'm having to like see this. So this is his pool of 2. So what Hadries does in the first game is he'll pick 2 factions, okay? Then his opponent responds with his 1 faction pick against those 2. So in response, Razel comes back and picks the Dark Elves, and Hadries is going to be going with the Warriors of Chaos. So it is going to be Warriors of Chaos as the pick. And there you have it. So picks and bans are set for the first game. Now we can switch on back over and just hang out while they do their picks. We have done it with the power of technology. We have figured out the picks and ban system. By the twin-tailed comet, Sigmar be praised for this most holy stream. That's right, man. Hank says, heresy, vampire count mirror is perfect. It really isn't. It's really not. If I was playing, I would play Sons of Sigmar. First pick. I don't care. I would first pick them. That's right. Hey, Jay Phoenix, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Melody says, oh yeah. Hey, Melody, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Are those faction graphics new? No, they're just pulled from the old game files, yeah. All right, guys. Chaos versus Dark Elves, a matchup that we saw a ton of, which historically speaking, many people perceive to be Dark Elf favored. Obviously, Scourge Runners are really annoying. They can out-skirmish you. They have repeater crossbows to pound your heavy infantry. One of the builds that we have seen from Warriors of Chaos is a Haggard Hell Cannon build, so they get like a really deep set Hell Cannon and just try and bombard you with it and use Marauder Horsemen to skirmish. It's tricky. It's tricky for sure. But we'll see how it unfurls. Matt says, have you finished painting your army yet? So I have a fully painted Death Guard army. I have a fully painted Black Legion army. And for fantasy, my Empire army is about 80% painted. I have painted 10 Greatswords, 10 Handgunners, 20 Halberdiers, 10 State Troop Swordsmen, Celestial Hurricanum, Karl Franz, 2 Battle Wizards, Volkmar the Grim, a Warrior Priest. I think that's everything that I've painted so far. And in the back, the only thing I haven't painted is 9 Demogryph Knights I have to paint. And then I also have to paint up, what the hell are those things? 10 more Handgunners, 10 more Swordsmen, State Troopers, and that's pretty much it. Then the army's like done, I would say, for now. You forgot driving your Hellblaster in your video about the old world. You forgot driving your Hellblaster? Oh, are you talking about manually aiming it? But yeah, Dark Elves are known for good armor piercing, right? Like almost a bunch of their roster is very, very effective here. Ooh, it's going to be Sirth the Dark Elf, sort of. So taking a look at the Druchii army, guys, it is going to be an entire battle line here of the repeater crossbows. So they're obviously just super good. So what you do is you basically just hammer the Chaos Mobility and screen them with your Dread Knights and your Dark Riders. Then you use the Dark Rider Repeater Crossbows to just kind of butter their bread. So it's going to be a full mobility Druchii army. We have Marathi up in the sky. Marathi, of course, is hands down the best choice. If you guys are a little bit newer to Warhammer 2, maybe you just joined at Warhammer 3 or Age of Empires or something, Marathi is a beast because she has Soul Stealer, which is one of the best spells in Warhammer 2. And she lowers the melee attack of all nearby units by 10, plus another 10 by 20, which is just absolutely ludicrous. She's got Cold One Dread Knights. Dread Knights are the elite Druchii cav, so these things certainly do not mess around. They hit very, very hard, and yeah, they're elite, but they do rampage. You got to watch out for that. Don't want them to be rampaging in the wrong territory. And this is an extremely difficult playstyle to play against for Chaos. I'm really curious how Hadrius is going to be handling this. We got Dark Riders, Scourge Runner Chariots, and that appears to be it. Now, looking here at the Warriors of Chaos, it is going to be the big man himself, Prince Sigvald, backed up by Marauder Horsemasters. What's cool about Horsemasters is they can skirmish very effectively against Repeater Crossbows, and they beat them in combat. Plus, they can also hold their own against Dark Riders in combat. So they have a little bit of, utility there for sure. But it's going to be Marauder Horsemen into the sunset. Mirror Guard, Sigvald, we have a Metal Caster with what appears to be Final Transmutation, because Dark Elf builds like this will tend to blob very heavily, right? And this is also an MLG play from Hadrius. He does have the Soul of Damnation like hidden behind the hill, so if there were bolt throwers, they would have a little bit of trouble shooting this. And what is he protecting with? Great weapons, we have a single Manticore in the back, and some Houndos hiding in the trees. And that is it, let us know. Who do you guys think is going to win this match? Do you think the Druchii will pull it out? Probably a little bit favored in this matchup, in my experience. Or is it going to be Hadrius, the Dark King of Skaven? Although I would imagine he is saving his Skaven for perhaps a slightly later pick. We will have to see. Medley in chat saying, I love all the cavalry. Yeah, cavalry is lacking a little bit in Warhammer 3. I mean, we don't... Aside from Kislev, they're not terribly prominent. I mean, I think we'll be seeing more of them once we get the Immortal Empires added and we get to see some of that. Yeah, I mean, Dark Elves, why would you want to fight Chaos up close? Chaos is a very good brawler faction, right? Very cost-effective infantry, the good lords in combat. I mean, Dark Elves can do it. Like, a Dark Elf player could come in with, like, a Harganeth build, like, just bring, like, 4 of them and bull rush these guys and maybe have a good chance of winning, but I think this is the more consistent way of winning in this matchup here. So the fight is on, and the Hell Cannon is going to be shooting downtown. The Boom is active, the Kevin James ability. Here comes the Boom. And that's going to be going downtown, probably targeting the Cold One Dread Knights. If you could actually get a Dread Knight to rampage, that's just so cost-effective. Oh, never mind. Actually going after the Scourge Runner Chariots here of Razel. I like that. That kind of takes away some of the skirmishing potential, but Scourge Runners are very, very good. They can certainly poke down some of these high-value targets. Okay, now they're going after the Dread Knights, and a beautiful shot right there. Takes out 4 of the Dread Knights, and honestly, if those Dread Knights get hit like 1 or 2 more times, there's a very substantial chance that those bad boys will rampage. And, those things are kind of heat-seeking. Okay, down to 31 models, Dread Knights are getting in, and suddenly the Dark Elves are kind of in a situation where they're like, oh, do I have to rush in here? Do I have to get aggressive? So far, Hadri's doing very, very well for himself in the skirmishing phase, as the Cold One Dread Knights do continue to take massive casualties, down to 30 models from 36. And the big Horsemasters seem to be doing pretty good. Dark Riders moving in to screen them out a little bit, and they have not rampaged yet. I'm trying to remember the rampaging threshold for these guys. I guess I was a little bit wrong about that. Disabled if hit points are greater than 20%. Okay, so yeah, it's Primal Instincts. It's not Rampage. Okay, so they have to be below 20%. So a little bit rusty on stuff, but we will get it back. Now, this is a very important play for Razel. If Razel can move in here and take out the Soul of Damnation with the Repeater Crossbows, then that will force Chaos to have to chase the Dark Elves, which is going to be a very horrible situation for them. But Hadri is very quick on the response here. He gets in with the Marauder Horsemen, as well as some of the Great Weapon Boys, these Chaos Warriors, and is going to be hunting down these Repeater Crossbows. But the Dread Knights are going to certainly have a word with them. So Dread Knights move in, and they hit like trucks. Certainly going to be able to beat down many of these really haggard Marauders. And yeah, they're certainly getting punished pretty badly, down to 76 models. But nice concave fire. Hadri's able to get a lot of the Javelins into them. But as far as the fights over here go, Razel does get a nice little Dread Knight engagement here, but the overcasted Final Transmutation does go down. That is a powerful ability, and very cost-effective for the Warriors of Chaos to have these Chaos Marauder Great Weapons just beating those guys down. Overall, it seems like Hadri's is holding pretty well. He does have the Soul of Damnation, a very strange Soul Stealer onto the Soul. I mean, it's just pure Dark Elf desperation trying to get rid of the Chaos range, because if Chaos is without range, then they're going to be able to really, force a kiting situation into the Warriors of Chaos. I do like Marathi going in here. Wand of Crydon is also quite good, so Big Mama in there trying to shut down the Hell Cannon. Looks like she might be able to get it, but a lot of Javelins coming her way, although the Javelins might actually end up friendly firing the Hell Cannon a little bit, which is pretty funny. And Razel does finally get some Dark Riders through, and the Dark Riders should be able to kill the Hell Cannon. So now the battle is going to devolve a little bit into cat and mouse, although Chaos still does have a fair amount of their own mobility, so they can certainly contest some of this. Here we do have the Manticore of the Warriors of Chaos battling the Coldwind Dread Knights on the other side. And my concern for the forces of the Druchii army is, are they going to have enough to deal with Prince Sigvald? Sigvald is an absolute raid boss. He will defeat Morathi in combat pretty decisively. And you can see the balance of power is actually getting a little bit more favored here for the Warriors of Chaos, as the Marauder Horseman blob is able to pull apart the Dark Riders, but Soul Stealer coming down. What kind of damage will that do? Oh my god, the Skull Cannon, not Skull Cannon, the Hell Cannon is still alive. That needs to be killed. He needs to get some Horsemen in there or something. Where did those Dark Riders go? Dude, the Hell Cannon is still shooting and still just dunking on a ton of these elite units. And it looks like the Manticore here might actually be able to defeat these Coldwind Dread Knights, and overall, Hadri's just seems to be in a relatively commanding position here. Halberds are moving back, and Halberds are going to be pretty durable against everything except the Repeater Crossbows. Scourgehounders can still do some work against them, but overall, I think Prince Sigvald's just a little bit too jacked. The Soul of Damnation finally does fall to the Repeater Crossbows over here, so they're able to kind of get that nice pot shot from downtown, and now they will be retreating. Dark Elves are certainly not out of this game by any stretch of the imagination. They have the mobility advantage, Morathi has the ability to heal, and now Chaos is looking a little bit more beleaguered as it pertains to their army overall. Sigvald getting shot by the Scourgerunner Chariots, taking it like an absolute champ, but again, Sigvald does have a passive healing ability, so he is going to be able to heal up and do pretty well for himself there. Marauder Horsemen chasing down the Repeater Crossbows here. We do also have some basic Chaos Marauders moving up and trying to screen a little bit, but the Marauder Horsemen will trade very favorably here, especially in combat. Looking at the stats, they have, oh, these are just basic Marauder Horsemen. I think there's some Horse Masters mixed in as well. We get some of those. Ooh, there's still Dread Knights here, guys. Yeah, you still got a couple Dread Knights. Need to finish those guys off. Dread Knights are one of those elite units that basically just fights to the bitter end. It just absolutely does not break. Same with Sisters of Slaughter. Those units just do not break. So Hadri's is probably banking another Final Transmutation as well on his caster character. I would imagine if I was playing with Morathi here, I would probably want to get Morathi to go in and try and take out that Chaos Sorcerer. Like, just kind of fly her over there, get a little bit of a gooning operation, and see how that does unfold for you for sure. Nice charge here coming in. Marauder Horsemen hammering into the Dark Riders with the Repeater Crossbows, but they were a little bit too beat up, and the Repeater Crossbows and the friendly Dark Riders able to kind of are able to hold them back. Mirror Guard also chasing. Mirror Guard do have Silver Shield, so they are able to mitigate 55% of the damage coming in from the Repeater Crossbows, and yeah, they got some cardio for Slaanesh, that is for sure, and they're going to be hunting down the Dark Riders right there. Looking around the battlefield, it just seems like Hadri's is slowly draining the ammunition of the Dark Elf army while not really taking that much damage himself. Here we got Morathi flying about. We do have about 1,700 HP as she is able to heal up. Nice little Soul Stealer does break down some of the Marauder Horsemen, although it didn't really get too much value, I suppose. It hit a couple units. Soul Stealer does stay on the initial units it hits, unlike Final Transmutation and some of those other abilities for sure. Repeater Crossbows in danger of being hunted. Honestly, I think they're going to be hunted to extinction here. Dark Elves just don't have too much peeling power anymore. I think the last of their actually like fighty units, the Coldwind Dread Knights, did get forced away, and it looks like the Druchii army is pretty much in mass retreat, which means that the Marauder Horsemen are pretty much just going to dominate most of these fights. They're just going to chase down the Dark Riders and, excuse me, most likely show them what's up. What is the combat stats on basic Marauder Horsemen? Look at that. Morathi puts their melee attack down to like 2. Just ludicrous. But yeah, I've seen this a million times. This certainly isn't my first rodeo, ladies and gentlemen, and it looks like this is going to be a Druchii loss. The Dark Elves are going to be falling. They simply don't have the tools to deal with it. I think if you took this entire Dark Elf army that's still left, they might not even be able to beat Sigvald. Sigvald is still, you know, full health, probably still has a couple thousand HP left in his healing cap. Mirror Guard are still very active, and we got Halberds back here too, which is pretty brutal. Granted, there's decent ammunition here for the Dark Elves, and Razel is doing a very good job scrapping here. Very, very impressed with the fightiness of Razel, despite being in a very precarious situation, but that can happen. You know, Hadri's most likely was expecting the full Dark Elf Kite build, and if you guys don't know a little bit of history about the Great Hadri's, he was one of the first really, really high-level competitive Dark Elf players out there. Like, even in the Dark Ages of the Dark Elves, he was just championing them and playing them a lot. So I think if anybody's going to know how to handle Dark Elves, it's probably going to be Hadri's, as he seemed pretty confident in the build. It seems like the build was pretty fine-tuned and didn't really have too many kind of weaknesses in it. Granted, the Dark Elf certainly could have won this game. I think it was winnable for both sides. I think the mass Dark Elf mobility build can do very, very good for itself. But in the end, Hadri's was able to just clinch the victory, and I'm really, really curious to see what these fine gentlemen will be picking for their next match here. As Morathi doing a little bit of a victory tour here. Not victory tour, I should say, a defeat tour. Taking a couple giant shafts to the face. Halberds handling these Scourge Hunter chariots, although they're still going on. And Dark Elves are going to probably lose the game once they use more ammo, because it'll just bounce of power them. Ammunition does count as it pertains to the bounce of power, which is probably strange for a lot of you guys, seeing the bounce of power back, right, in a competitive multiplayer situation. Soul Stealer going down, but Marathi also gets hit with an overcasted Final Transmutation, which is going to be doing fat damage. She goes into battle with Chaos Sorcerer, who's no slouch in combat. Chaos Sorcerers are heavily armored and not bad fighters, but that should trigger the army losses here, as the Dark Elf build is going to be sent back to the shadows by the Warriors of Chaos. No way they're coming back, but I do appreciate the scrappiness nonetheless. Sigvald could probably solo all of this, and there's still Chaos, great weapons here. We have Halberds. A lot of strong boys for sure. But I mean, stranger comebacks have happened. I guess something I'm not really taking into account is the Winds of Magic. Marathi could have a lot of Winds of Magic. You never know. Here we do see some of the Mirror Guard getting run over by the chariots, and the bounce power is ebbing back a little bit. So maybe I am going to be made to eat my words. I don't think so. Hadri's just basically has no means of catching this army, so he kind of is just at the mercy of the repeater crossbows at this point. The biggest thing would just to be trying just to screen for the Chaos Warrior Halberds. They're going to be one of the big epicenters, and we do get the Horsemasters charging in, doing a little bit of damage. Mirror Guard are also engaged there as well. So Mirror Guard, these Sigvald's Chosen will get in there and certainly drag down some of these Dark Rider Cav. Marathi coming in to help as well, but ooh, Prince Sigvald's there. You better watch out. Sigvald is going to hit pretty hard if Marathi doesn't get away here, and it looks like she does take a shot right there in the back. Very, very low. 1,000 HP. Chaos Warrior Halberds are on the move. Scourge Hunter Chariots are wavering. Army losses has kicked in, and the Warriors of Chaos have claimed victory in Game 1. Hadri's with the steel chair is going to be winning the match. That was a very fun one. I enjoyed that one quite a bit. Hey, no worries, no worries. Welcome, welcome. Sorry you missed check-in, man, but glad to have you here on the stream. So, we shall go update the old scorecard for Hadri's, and we are all set. So taking a look at damage value, what really did it for Chaos? Horsemasters MVP, 1,000, 1,200. Pretty decent spread on the basic horsemen. They almost always pay for themselves. Hellcannon also did good. Didn't quite pay for itself, but really was the epicenter of the build that kind of forced the Dark Elves to come in and attack, rather than Chaos having to chase you, which is really, really important. Marathi with 2,300 value. Colo and Dread Knights were the big weak link here. They only got, like 550 value, which is pretty brutal for sure. All right, so the next map is going to be the Altdorf Outskirts, a classic map. And we will see what the picks and bans are going to be for the two players. So let's go ahead and switch on over there. Where is it? look at the Chaos Dwarves. I know, they're in it. They are in it indeed. So this was the picks and bans for the first game. So now we need to kind of clear this up, see what the players are going to be doing here, and we will go from there. All right, let me go ahead and find them. Make sure they are all good. GG, well played. Picks and bans here, please. Cool, all set. All set indeed. So Hadri's is currently up 1-0 in the best of 3. And we are going to be seeing what they will do for their next picks and bans in just a second. Yeah, the Hellcannon's value is huge because it forces the Dark Elves to come close. If you have to chase the Dark Elves as Chaos, I can tell you from my tons of experience. I played a million games with Hadri's, and it is very miserable. Chasing Dark Elves sucks. It really sucks. Flying Dutchman says, thanks for scratching my land battle itch. Yeah, good to see all the game 1 and 2 factions. For me, that's really what it's about. I think that domination is a good game mode, and I think it's constantly developing. And there's for sure going to be some improvements coming to domination in the old world goodness. And hey, we have a new channel member, Shadowfire. Thank you for becoming a member. Do appreciate that quite a bit. Welcome to the Dukes of Haggard. And what will the picks be for the next game? So, Beastmen and Wood Elves for Razel. So we have a Beastmen pick, and we have Wood Elves. So now Hadri's is on the counter pick. Unfortunately for Hadri's, both of these factions are very, very good against Skaven. So I don't think we're going to be seeing his Blessed Skaven here. I would seriously doubt that. But those are the two picks in the pool for Razel at the moment. So now we just need to kind of wait and see what the next step will be. And we can go from there. Question, do you think they would model Nippon after Tau? I don't think so. Nippon, I mean, look at how Cathay plays. Cathay has a lot of elements that you kind of see in Three Kingdoms, actually. But if they were to make Nippon a faction, they would probably just honestly make them like a Shogun. Like they could just straight up take things from Shogun and then add a couple fantasy units and call it a day, right? That would be pretty easy. Norska here, huh? I don't know, Wood Elves, what would I pick here? Against Beastmen and Wood Elves, you see, if I were playing, I would pick Empire because I feel very confident against Beastmen and I feel very confident against Wood Elves. So Empire here would be an amazing pick, but I don't know if Hadri's plays them enough to do it. Tomb Kings against Wood Elves is like, I would say a 55-45 for Wood Elves. Wood Elves are just a very strong faction, comparatively speaking, but neither of these factions have access to Burning Head, so there is a chance we could see it. Hadri's still kind of contemplating his pick here as we go into the second match in the best of 3. Yep, it looks good. I would love to see some Brass Bull, man. I really like watching Beastmen and Wood Elves. They're really, really fun factions to play. But yeah, if they were to do Nippon, they would just basically do, you know, they would just do Shogun 2 plus some fantasy units and then add a couple legendary characters and then you're good, right? That's pretty much it. Lucina, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I understand why some people prefer land battles. But from like a balance perspective, land battles are not as good because they basically, we have to have tournament rules in place and a lot of people don't follow those. And I can't tell you how many games in a land battle tournament that do not get seen by admins have rule breaks and people essentially cheating in them to get wins. There's so many. So it's very, very tough. Could go Lizardmen too. Yeah, Lizardmen would be a good pick here. I think that's a good choice to actor for sure. Bretonia, yeah, Bretonia would be very good here too. We could see the glorious Mass Wood Elf Air Force build. All sorts of weird stuff. There are a lot of options. Hadri's is going to go Beastmen. Oh my god. So here's what ends up happening, guys. Hadri's goes Beastmen as his final pick. And guess what Razel is going to pick in response? Just because we love mirror matches, it is a Beastmen mirror. The Bray Herds are going to be locking horns here today, ladies and gentlemen, as we get a Beastmen mirror match. Oh my god. Come on, guys. We're back in Warhammer 2. We have 15 factions to choose from, and we're getting mirror matches. I thought we would escape that here today, but I guess not. What are the tournament rules? Well, you have to memorize like 10 pages of stuff. It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, it's really not as bad as I make it sound. It's I don't think domination needs rules. No, I don't think it does. And if domination ever comes to the point where it needs rules, that should be something that Creative Assembly should address. I don't think we as a community should continue to like have to patch up issues. Like, we want Creative Assembly to take the initiative and fix those things so we can have a game mode that anybody can get into without having to know rules. They were the chosen ones. They were. And the sad thing is we don't have extra banners in this game. So basically it's just going to be this game, it's going to be impossible to tell what's going on. Like, absolute anarchy. Absolute anarchy. Yeah, I am like 90% sure they're going to be taking away the comeback mechanic. Like, I and several other hosts and individuals who are talking to CA have just been hounding them about the comeback mechanic, and they've been very agreeable to the points we've made. So I'm pretty sure they are going to get rid of the comeback mechanic. It's going to happen. Yeah, it's tricky. You know, honestly, I think a lot of the stuff as it pertains to domination mode has to do more so with the fact that we have limited factions. I think once people see all their old factions in domination mode, I think a lot of the kind of mindset will change. Because I associate domination mode with the 6 or 7 factions we have now in Warhammer 3, which, you know, I don't enjoy as much. So therefore, I don't enjoy domination as much in some ways. But I think once we get the old world factions in, I like domination as a game mode. It's good because a new player can grab it, they can play, and they're playing the same game that tournament players are playing. It's not like they have different rules. Like in Warhammer 2, there was like 5 or 6 different rule sets. Like the Chinese community had their own rules, the Korean community had their own rules. Everybody's playing a different game, so it's kind of like, yeah, it was too much. It was too much. Utter anarchy, I like that. Yeah. Hey, will we ever see competitive land battles? It's tricky. I don't know. I'll still probably host some land battle tournaments every now and then as kind of a fun thing, but it's not going to be the main competitive format, at least on the tournaments I'm hosting. But I'll still host them. Like, I'm still down to host a tournament a week in land battles if people enjoy watching it and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Dude, I can't believe we got a Beastmen mirror match. There were so many good faction options against Beastmen here and Wood Elves. But alas, we get the dreaded mirror match. Mike says, Turin, instead of a comeback mechanic, would you be open to some kind of a mechanic where the person who has fallen behind gets a one-time ability to increase their speed temporarily? I don't think you really need it, because here's the thing. There already is a bit of an inbuilt mechanic of a comeback, even without the comeback mechanic. So here's the thing. Let's say you fight on the objectives, you lose. Your opponent spreads out to capture 3 objectives. Well, then their army is spread out. That gives you the opportunity to consolidate your forces on one objective and try and overload certain positions and work your value back. So I really don't like the comeback mechanic. Imagine if you were playing like Age of Empires or StarCraft 2, and let's say you're playing StarCraft and you move some Marines out of your base, right? And then there's some burrowed Banelings out there, and the Banelings blow up your Marines. And then the game was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, little guy. Let me go ahead and give you some free minerals for losing your Marines." Like that would just be everybody would hate that. Everybody would absolutely hate that. Any competitive RTS game where you want to have a fun and balanced experience, in a competitive way. If we're talking casual, whatever, comeback mechanic, who cares? But if we're talking a more competitive environment, yeah, no, you can't have that. You can't have the comeback mechanic. It's very bad. Yeah, can't have that. It's tricky, Ian. Yeah, you say a large. I would say it's pretty. You know, so I hosted land battles and domination tournaments in the beginning, and typically we got more signups for domination. I think there's a very vocal minority of people who do really prefer land battles, and they're very vocal about it, which is certainly totally fine. Like, express your opinions. But I think domination is more popular to play. From a viewing perspective, I think that land battles are a little bit more fun to watch. I would agree with that. But domination games can also be very fun to watch when they're down to the wire, right? Yeah, it's tricky. It's definitely tricky. Will there be any Falcon tonight? I don't think he signed up. It would have been interesting to see Falcon sign up. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that. But I also have the opinion that people do not like domination because the factions in domination are not that fun to play right now. That's one of the issues as well, right? Whereas in Warhammer 2, we associate land battles with 15 awesome, fully fleshed out factions that are super fun. So I think a lot of it is the association. Like, I think domination, like, dude, there's things about domination that really excites me for the Empire, for example. Jay Phoenix saying, I think Dom is much better. People say Warhammer 3 rosters are smaller, but then you watch Warhammer 2 and people spam the same 5 units in every matchup anyways. That's true. That's very true. I understand the viewability of land battles. It's very fun, but domination is a better game mode overall, in my opinion. And like, dude, imagine in domination mode, you're in a battle and you just like summon in like a fat Luminarch that just like blasts the enemy lord and finishes them. That's like super exciting to me. I think there's going to be a lot of fun plays, but I really think a lot of it is factions. Yes. Yeah, the maps are also quite bad in Warhammer 3. Land battle maps are really bad. We need better maps in Domination too. If Domination had like a lot of maps like the Battle for Itza, I think it would be in a much better place for sure. Well, certainly a fun discussion. We are loading in to the second match. And let me go ahead and double check the old Tavern and see how we are looking on the top side of the bracket. Did the champions make it? By the way, there's a Domination tournament today as well. Let me go ahead and show you guys in just a second. So, yes, we have Even Star versus Human Boy. Yes, on the top side of the bracket. So, probably we'll see some Skaven there. By the way, if you guys are looking to play in another tournament today as well, let me go ahead and take you on over here. We do have a North American Domination tournament going on. You don't have to be in North America to play it, obviously. It's just the time zone. But it's being hosted by Tim the Wilder and Houseplant, so you can come sign up here. I think I'm actually going to play in this. Assuming we finish this tournament in time, let me go ahead. So I'm just going to sign up for this event real quick. Perfect. Yeah, so we have a Domination tournament going on later today. So, yeah, sign on up if you guys are interested. And yeah, let the good times roll. So switching back over. Let us go ahead and see what filth we have here in this matchup. Let us see the glory. All right, so looking at the army here of Hadries, the Skaven King, it is going to be a spawn rush. So it's Beastmen spawn, who do have poison. Ungor Raiders, double Manticore, we got a bunch of Hounds, as well as Centaurs, Bray Shaman of the Wild, and Torox the Brass Bull. So it's a spawn rush. It's a spawn rush, very simplistic. Now, for Razel's build, it's going to be Ungors with Minotaurs with dual weapons? Yeah, it's going to be the Butchers of Kalkengard. Bray Shaman of the Wilds, we do have Torox the Brass Bull and Centaurs with throwing axes. So It's going to be a spawn-based build, a very static spawn build that's going to be pushing up, facing off against a little bit more of a dynamic Beastmen kind of mobility build with Centaurs and throwing axes and things like that. So, can you stream my perspective, you're saying? In the tournament later? I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. We'll see. At the very least, I'll record the games I play in. I swear somebody in chat says, I swear there's a CA employee that really loves putting rocks right in the middle of the map just in OS. Yeah, maybe. This one isn't too bad. We do have this rock right here, which is the Beastmen army of Hadries. Seems a little bit stronger and easier to use. I could be wrong, but just kind of in the 1 million Warhammer 2 games I've casted, I feel like oftentimes the more easy to pilot builds will win. I mean, obviously when we get to the higher level, that isn't always the case. But like a spawn rush is just so effective. Looking at the build here of Razel, I mean, Centaurs can kill them with a nice charge. Also, Centaurs with throwing axes can wear them down with a little bit of good micro, but the double Manticore is also very strong too. Like, if you guys don't know Warhammer 2, double Manticore is just one of the most annoying things to face. They're just such cost-effective monsters. Eladron, thank you for the 20 bucks. He says, I'm DMing a D&D game in a bit, so I gotta go. Great stream as always. Thank you, man. And hope to see you back, man. We'll see you in the next few days. Tomorrow I'm taking off, but on Sunday I'll be having some sort of an event. I don't know what, but we always gotta have something fun going here. I think this is gonna be a fast round with these builds. It probably will be. It probably will be very, very quick. Human Boy says, Domination takes out kiting, both sides having builds to sit there. Not necessarily. I think the fact that we don't see a lot of kiting is because the only kiting options we have in the game in Warhammer 3 at the moment are, let's go ahead and think about this. So you have the Horsemen of Kislev, okay. You have Cathay, doesn't have any sort of a horse archer unit. I guess you have the Blimps. None of the demons can really skirmish. So I don't think that's a completely fair assessment. I think that when we get like Pistoliers and Glade Riders and Dark Rider repeater crossbows, I think we're going to be seeing all those skirmishing units coming back. Like, I think all those guys will make their way back. Now, they might not be used to drag you across the map, but they're still going to be very good for poking you and, like, intercepting. So anyways, big fights in the beginning. We just get a full-on sandwich here. Hadries' Hounds moving in, but Centaurs from Razel moving in. We got Spears. Oh, it looks like it was a little bit of a bait from Hadries, dude. I thought that was a misplay, but he gets an overcasted Traderkin and nails those Centaurs. Dude, Hadries is a very, very cunning foe indeed. Now, Spawn moving into the front. We have Butchers of Kalkengard battling the Spawn here. This will be pretty cost-effective for the Spawn. Butchers of Kalkengard do pay a lot into the armor piercing, and Spawn just hit hard against light armor in general. Granted, the Brass Bull for Razel is there, and the Spawn are also being taken down by the Destroyers of Drakewald. So there's a lot of anti-large, a lot of DPS in, and Hadries is kind of getting flattened here in the middle a little bit. He had a good engagement on the flanks using the Manticores and the Traderkin, but overall, you can see that the Spawn of Hadries get absolutely evaporated there. Super, super hard. And the Destroyers of Drakewald, of course, with their anti-large, very, very helpful. Now, Razel, I wish I had my cool drawing tools. He's rotating around with his main army right here, whereas Hadries is going to be committing more to the blob fight. He gets his double Manticores in there. He's getting his Spears coming in. Some Chaos Warhounds looking like they want to move out there and maybe attack the Tuskor Chariots. Granted, Tuskor Chariots will do very well against them. And yeah, honestly, Razel looks to be in a pretty comfortable position as his Centaurs are getting a nice concave of fire and will be throwing in there. The Spawn, we do have a couple Spawn units that are in good health. One of them got absolutely karate chops, but the big thing that Hadries has in terms of an advantage here is going to be the AoE Traderkin #1, but they both have that, I guess. And the double Manticore is what I was going to say. But Razel gets a beautiful Traderkin coming in from Razel right there. Does nail the Spawn, the Spearman, as well as the enemy caster. So both players utilizing a lot of things that were considered to be quite good in Warhammer 2. And it looks like the Spawn formation is still holding, but is going to start buckling a little bit as Razel does have the mobile advantage and is able to get a pretty good surround right here. We do have a couple Ungor Raiders left for Hadries. The Brass Bulls are just kind of going fisticuffs. Oh man, the Gorbel pick from Razel too. Very, very nice. And you know, I actually think Razel is a Beastmen main. If I remember correctly, I think Razel was one of the better Beastmen players in the game in Warhammer 2, so maybe that is why we're seeing that happen here. The two Manticores are routed into the Shadow Realm. Torox, the Brass Bull from Hadries, a little bit outmatched here, but maybe the Manticores will come back. That is probably going to be what Hadries is going to have to kind of bank on here. The Spawn still holding on, but yeah, the leadership kit is just so much stronger here. Do we have the Brass Body active? We do. So Hadries does have Brass Body. Razel, though, does have the Gorbel helping. One Manticore is going to be rampaging back in, and so too is the other Manticore, so that will at least give a little bit of a terror route right here. But overall, it looks like Razel was able to dominate some of the engagements with the SEM kind of goon squad he had there, with the Gorbel, Plus, also having the throwing axe is doing that good, consistent DPS into some of those large targets for sure. Manticore gets rampaged on the ground. The Manticores also seem to be a little bit inefficient this game. I thought the Terror Route might be very good, but in the end, it didn't seem to be quite as strong. And ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Razel's going to be coming in, proving my assessment wrong. I thought that the spawn build would be a little bit more efficient and easy to use, especially against like chariots and minotaurs and things like that. But Razel proving to have really, really good target priority and overall dominated many of the flank engagements, which makes sense. You know, if Hadri's is investing in a more simplistic kind of build, he's going to give up the flanks. And with Beastmen, that can be pretty tough for sure. So Taurox, fighting Taurox, the evil twins, and that is going to be the game going for the Beastmen and for Razel. ODM is back on the board here as the brass body is active. GG, well played. Razel showing that he certainly has the hooves to be a true Beastman. That was a good one. Yeah, my dad is stronger than your dad situation. Yeah, some angry cows for sure. Angry cows indeed. All right, so taking a look here at the army of Hadri's. Spawn kind of got crumped a little bit. None of the spawn got over 500 value, which has got to hurt. What did really good for this army? Destroyers of Drakewald. Yeah, characters were quite good too. The value is pretty spread out over the whole army, actually. GG, man. Great match. Great, great match. So, the last map is going to be another classic from the days of old. It's going to be Engui. And we will see what the players do for their picks and bans, and we will hang tight. Thank you all for joining. That one was certainly fast and furious. The dairy cows will feast tonight. Yes, they will. As we head on over to the pick and ban. So let's go ahead and clear all this goodness. And it is 1-1, ladies and gentlemen. Razel showing the true power of the Beastmen. I don't know why the scoreboard updated wrong. Sorry. Got to get that correct. 1 and 1. There you go. All right. I had it on the wrong side there. All right, so switching on over to the picks and ban screen. And here we go. Boom. Let us see what they will do. Minotaurs be like, got milk. The Bone Zone is coming too. The Bone Zone will be here. I want Skaven, man. I really do want some Skaven. I want to see Hadri's whip out his beloved rats. Win or lose, man. I feel like you go out on your Skaven shield here, you know? Just bring some of the Elector rats. I think that's what needs to happen. Summon the Elector rats. Dude, that'd be so awesome. Let the rats feast. No, it is 1-1 right now. I just accidentally updated the... I punched the wrong button on my keyboard, so... We haven't seen Greenskins yet today, I don't think. I'm surprised. Greenskins were probably top of the meta at the end of Warhammer 2. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them in this game. Razel, I remember Razel being a Beastman main now. It really is all coming back to me. Human Boy says, I promise you will get Skaven in the other semi. Yes, Human Boy. Bring us the rats, dude. Let the rats feast. Yeah, Human Boy is in the other top 4, so I'm pretty sure we'll see the rats. It's going to happen. Human Boy says, I can literally play one faction. Yeah, you can play one faction and you're facing off against the Warhammer 2 World Champion. It's certainly going to be a tough one, but I believe in you, man. I believe in you. Even Star is a very strong opponent indeed. Yeah, this is best of 3. It is best of 3. We're currently waiting on the picks and bans now. So let's see what they are going to type here. So Chaos. Oh, I don't know if it's going to fit here. Hold on a sec. I have to update the other one. So give me 1 second. This cursed cough that just won't go away. Curse the Baggins, man. All right. So, and okay, that's kind of strange. Let's just delete these, I guess. So it is Hadri's versus Razel. Map is not the Crossing of Sea of Claws. So, back on over to the picks and bans. We have adjusted it, and it is going to be Chaos for Razel. So let's go ahead and find that. Warriors of Chaos. It is also going to be Wood Elves. And it is going to be Vampire, or Skaven, okay, for his 3 picks. And he is banning the vampire counts. So the dreaded vampires have been banned. Certainly strong. So now Hadri's is going to do a little bit of a pick situation here. So Hadri's will ban one of the 3 that Razel has picked. He will pick one of his own, and then Razel will pick from the remaining 2. What would Hadri's do here? The rats are on the menu. So too are Warriors of Chaos and Wood Elves. I don't know. We haven't seen Wood Elves today. We did see Wood Elves get picked, but I don't think we've seen them get played quite yet. So they certainly could make an arrival onto the menu. You'll be the people's champ for the rats. Yes, Human Boy will. Don't you worry. Who would win, Scarbrand or Torox? Probably Scarbrand. Yeah, Scarbrand's just more HP. He hits harder. He's like combat buffs. Torox would put up a good fight, but I think that... Oh, wait. Doesn't Torox have some sort of fire resistance? I don't know. No, I'm pretty sure that Scarbrand would just win that. Where could someone find the spreadsheet for unit capture weight and domination? So wham, that is... I can get that. If you shoot me a message in Discord, I can probably find that for you and give you... I have it somewhere in my files here. Are you the wham from Age of Empires, by the way? He did ban the vampire counts, yeah. But Hadri's doesn't really play vampire counts, I don't think, so I don't think that really matters too much. Empire could be good here. But the thing is, like, not very many people play Empire. Like, there's only a couple Empire mains out there. I think I'm one, and I mean, I don't know who even really plays them anymore. They were very unpopular towards the end of Warhammer 2, just because I think they're much harder to play than some of these other factions. And they have some really bad matchups. But, like, you could totally go Empire here. I would go Empire, ban Warriors of Chaos, because Empire actually counters Wood Elves pretty effectively with Huntsman's ban. And then against Skaven, it's like a 50-50 matchup. So you're just kind of whoever plays better kind of thing. Tomb Kings? Tomb Kings banning Chaos? Yeah, Tomb Kings banning Chaos could be pretty good. But then Wood Elves are still in the menu. So that's a little bit of a tricksy hobbit as well. Let's see who else we have. Bretonia banning Chaos? Bretonia banning Skaven. No, they can face Skaven. Lizardmen are still a decent option. I mean, there's a ton. There's so many factions here. Yeah, there's so many factions. Houseplant is an Empire main. Okay, very good. Yeah, and Houseplant, hopefully Houseplant will play them in Warhammer 3 as well. All right, so, Skaven banning Wood Elves from Hadri's. He's bringing out the big guns. Skaven banning Wood Elves. All right, so now it is time for Razel to pick either the Skaven, which I think Hadri's is down for that, or the Warriors of Chaos. Oh my god, please don't give us another mirror match. Please. Okay, Razel goes Chaos. Thank the Dark Gods. So, for Razel, the final pick is going to be the Warriors of Chaos. Boom! Check that bad boy out, man. It's going very good, Starway. Thank you for joining. So, the die is cast, the match is set. Skaven versus Warriors of Chaos here. Let's go ahead and switch on back. Get this bad boy fired up and have some fun. Thank you all for joining, by the way. It's fun to kind of go back to the basics, back to the old school. The rats are coming, baby. Summon the Elector rats. Dude, can you imagine the rats, the Skaven, wearing like Elector Counts outfits, just like the kind of the Holy Roman Middle Ages outfits? That'd be so funny. That should be your profile picture, Human Boy. You should just get like a Skaven wearing like an Elector Count outfit. That'd be really good. Yeah, Palpatine, you arrived just in time, man. Were you playing today, Palpatine? I know you're a Chaos enjoyer. Forsaken, Spawn, and 2 Manticores inbound? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I would imagine Hadri's is probably keen on dealing with that. You probably go with what? You go with a Grey Seer on a Bell with the dreaded 13th spell. You go with Double Assassin. And do you go for a Helped Abomination too? Do you go that hard in the paint? Or do you just get like Council Guard? I guess that could work. You could just rampage them in the Council Guard or something. Yeah. Laredo says, I got you. This is like my 100th turn Warhammer 2 tournament to watch. Yeah, man. We're getting there. Kaiser says, can we get a Palpatine? What do you mean a Palpatine? Do you mean like an impression? Or do you actually want Palpatine in the event? Is this pick and ban system fair according to stats? Is it something that's been tracked? Yeah, this is one that was suggested to me by several people at the end of Warhammer 2. And honestly, it seems pretty good. I like it so far. Jay Phoenix says, there is actually an artist who constantly does this. Oh, yeah. That's cool. You have to send me some of those. So Destruction asks, when is Thankful coming? Thankful will, I would honestly say, like, is 100% going to happen. Thankful will probably be like a DLC somewhere in the lifespan of Warhammer 3, where they will add Thankful and they'll add Stormfiends. I would wager, and a Vermin Lord too. They'll probably add a Vermin Lord, Thankful, and I don't know, what other Skaven units are missing? So Vermin Lords, you have Stormfiends, you have Thankful, and I don't know what else is missing. Somebody else would have to kind of fill me in there. Curses, man, curses. Do you think Ungram would put up much of a fight against Garbrand? So he would lose, but he's also costs for how much Ungram costs. That's actually very cost-effective trading, because Ungram only, he costs what, like 1,300, and Scarbrand's going to be closer to 3,000, and he would actually put a huge hurt on Scarbrand, but he would lose in a fight. But he's unbreakable. I think that's pretty good. And yeah. Vermin Lords will be really cool. I don't know what else is missing from Skaven. But yeah, from a cost-effectiveness standpoint, Ungram would trade very, very, very well with Scarbrand. Scarbrand does not want to take that fight. He's going to lose a lot of health. He is going to lose a lot of health. Especially if, like, you know, Ungram has his items and all that sort of good stuff as well. All right. Hey, Rhineless, thank you for the link. Really appreciate that. All right, perfect. See if the players have any questions. Nope, looks like they're all good. Do you think he would get Bone Crusher as a mount or as a hero? I think as a mount. I think Thankful would get isn't it Bone Ripper or something? Or no, it's Bone Crusher, whatever. Yeah, Thankful's pet Rat Ogre would probably be a mount option. That makes more sense to me. He'll probably have a bell. He'll probably have a bell option and a mount option, which is his ogre. Paul says, hey, Turin, I'm a French guy, and I don't understand your English so well, but love learning. You have such energy in the voice. It is so nice to hear. Hey, I appreciate that, Paul. Hope all is well, man. And we're here for you. We're going to be having some good times. We have Skaven versus Chaos here. A classic duel. The double Manticore most certainly coming. Bone Ripper. Yeah, it was Bone Ripper. That's right. It wasn't Bone Crusher. That's why I was a little bit kind of confused there. Ungrim versus Dragonback Slayers. If I was playing Dwarves against Chaos... If I was playing Dwarves against Khorne, what would I do? Probably Thorek Ironbrow, just because he's so good. I would go with Miners with Blasting Charges to wreck Bloodletters, and then backed up by probably Dwarf Warriors with great weapons to deal with armor. And then I would probably go for like Bugman's Rangers to be durable against Furies. Gyrocopters are a little bit of a liability against Furies, so you probably can't even do that. Hey, Justin, you don't know that, man. Ungrim needs, I don't know, I do not know who that is. You need to take Gotrek anytime you face Thankful? Yeah, that's true, from a lore perspective. Thankful, if you guys haven't read the Gotrek and Felix books, Thankful is like this constant meme. Like, Gotrek and Felix, like, thwart him every single time, and he's just, like, always twirling his little Skaven mustache, barely escaping, and the biggest meme of all is that in the Gotrek and Felix books, every single time they face Thankful's pet Rat Ogre just gets massacred. It just like, Gotrek just absolutely annihilates it. So, and then Thankful has to get a new one. So basically Thankful has had like many pet Rat Ogres who all have the same name, but they just always get dunked on. It's really funny. It's pretty hilarious. Yeah. Skaven is an army I've thought about playing in tabletop. When the Old World comes back, I might start a Skaven army for Warhammer Fantasy, for the Old World. But the thing about Skaven is, I'm like, every army I've ever played in tabletop is a horde army. It's like a trooper-based army where you have to paint like 10 million models. So I'm like, oh, do I really want to paint like 500 Skaven models? You know, do I really want to do that? I don't know. Yeah, Bone Ripper dies like at least 3 or 4 times, to my knowledge, maybe even more. Thankful is basically Skeletor, yeah. Yeah, correct. All right, so we're on Angui. This is a classic Warhammer 2 tournament map. It's one side. It's really interesting because on this map, you kind of have to know which side you're spawning on. If you spawn on the wrong side and you bring like an artillery build, it can be very, very rough. Oh, Justin, you're good, man. You're good. Don't worry about it. You're got to work out those dry brushing arms. That's the problem. Dry brushing is a little bit hard because I have like tendon damage in my flexor tendon, so it's kind of like, I don't know. I'm definitely, so I do plan on starting when Old World comes back and Games Workshop re-releases the game. As long as it's like decent, I'm going to start a new channel, a second channel, where we're going to be uploading 2 battle reports a week. So we'll be doing like, you know, all Old World battle reports at first. Eventually we'll add like 40K and stuff, but we're gonna have an Old World tabletop channel, which is gonna be super fun. So I'll probably commission some like armies to get painted because I won't be able to handle that many because I only have Empire right now, and Yeah, I'm gonna get like a Dark Elf army, get like, I'll probably at least have 8 to 10 armies when the channel does start, so. I believe there was 15 Bone Rippers. Is that serious? Time to join the ogres. You just have to paint 4 to 5 stone horns and you're good to go. Yeah, that sounds like a good deal for sure. Although those probably take a lot of time. Oh, 2 bat reps a week, easy. The biggest obstacle to my tabletop channel is trying to get Italian Spartacus to do it with me, because he lives close to me, and Italian Spartacus has like 3 or 4 starter boxes of Warhammer Fantasy armies. He has a Dark Elf one, he has a Bretonnian one, he has a fully assembled High Elf army. I don't think he's painted it yet, but so Sparty already has like 4 armies, and we live close together. Are you going to play versus Mini Wargaming? Oh, I would 100% go out there. I'm a huge fan of them. I really like them. Which MMA fighter would I like to see as an Empire Legendary Lord? Okay, for the Empire, does it like, I don't know. Does it have to be someone of like kind of Central European descent, or? Got to give me more details on that. Yeah, got to give me more details. Let's see, who would be good? Yeah, George St. Pierre in there. That'd be fun. Although he'd probably be a Bretonnian lord. All right. So for the army here of Razel, let's take a look. It is a big swarming army. A huge army. Forsaken, Chaos Marauders into the sunset. We got Sigvald in the bushes, I think. Yeah, it's going to be Sigvald, Chaos Sorcerer of Fire with Burning Head, which is still very strong. Chaos Chariots, Forsaken. So basically, it's a whole Forsaken Marauder rush, double man score, Horsemen to kill Rat Ogres and Hell Pits. And that appears to be it. So looking on the other side, let us go ahead and look. It is going to be a Warp Lightning Cannon, the Ikit's Zap Zap Cannon, a Grey Seer in the Bell, as expected. Oh, and the Hadries special, baby! So Hadries was one of the first players to kind of innovate the double Chieftain instead of the double Assassin to fight against the Manticores. Because they actually have 70 armor and pretty good combat stats. So they can take Manticores on head-to-head, which is very cool. Council Guard as well. And that appears to be it. So the big epicenter of the Skaven army is going to be the SAM core. It's going to be the Grey Seer on the Bell, as well as the Double Chieftain. That is pretty damn cool. So looking around, the Warriors of Chaos will certainly have their work cut out for them. I'm surprised we're not seeing a mortar. Oh, we do have one over here. Okay, Poison Wind Mortar. There's almost always one. Oh, and this is a Storm Vermin frontline. Okay, very elite. Check it out. So Hadries is going to be coming in with an elite Storm Vermin frontline, as well as the Halberds, which are, of course, the Unbreakable RORs, the Albino Rats. And I love this build, because Forsaken, as well as the Marauders, both lose pretty decisively to Storm Vermin. Like, Storm Vermin will defeat them, and they won't take too many losses. I mean, they will. They're still Skaven, but it's not the worst thing in the world. David says he forgot about the ubiquitous Skirmish Cav in Warhammer 2. Yeah, it's pretty much every game has a couple. And I honestly think it's going to be pretty similar once we get the Mortal Empires in Warhammer 3. I think that we're going to be seeing, Pistoliers in every build. I think we're going to be seeing a couple Marauder Horsemen, a couple Glade Riders. I think it's going to be very standard. They're very good. We don't see them from Kislev too much, but Kislev is such a hybrid army that they don't really need the Skirmish because all their units have pistols. So it's a little bit different. It's a Storm Vermin build, yeah. It is indeed a Storm Vermin build. Yeah, they're very cool units, man. They're very cool. So, the Mirror Guard and Sigvald's Chosen will be advancing. Do we have the Mirror Guard here? No, we don't. Those are just basic Marauders. Okay, so it's just Sigvald then. He's just going to have to look at his own reflection in his shield here. I really like how the shield actually has, like, it has the reflection of the terrain. Like, you can see the Forest of Angui as he runs, which I think is very cool. The Grey Seer is going to be summoning some Interference Rats, and what I mean by that is there's going to be some Clan Rat summons to block up the advance of Chaos. Mortars just want to hit Forsaken. Just bombard those Forsaken and do it to it. Hank saying this matchup is not good for Skaven. It's Chaos's game to lose. I think that can be true if you're not a Skaven main. But like, Hadries is very good at Skaven. He has played this matchup a million times. A little bit of classic lag, You can't have a proper Warhammer 2 tournament without a little bit of lag. It just has to happen. The dreaded peer-to-peer. Now, Morta's going in there. Hadri's trying to get a little bit of a roast with that Scorch, but really nice micro by Razel so far. Oh, look at this! Oh, that's such a nice play. The Ikit Zap Zap Cannon snipes the Manticore out of the sky and forces a Rampage this early. That is very strong. And now it's going to be landing on the ground to fight the summoned Clan Rats, which is, I guess, better than running to Hadri's army over there. Mortar teams on the other side going to be bombarding in, and let's see if they can dodge it. And it looks like the Marauders do get hit pretty hard, so that's going to be a fair amount of damage right there. Manticore lurking in the wings. The Chaos Feral Manticore waiting in the shadows, looking to strike, looking for blood. But so far, a very strong start for the Skaven. Rampaging that Manticore is just like so valuable. And look at that, the Warp Lightning Cannon is getting it even lower. 1900, 1600, that thing is actually pretty close to death. And now the brave, valiant warriors of the Skaven Under Empire stand shield to shield, ready to face the Marauders of Chaos. And the rats should be pretty good. These are the elite fighting core of the Skaven Empire. Although chariots do hit into the front, so we get Chaos Chariots hammering into the Storm Vermin. Strangely enough, there's not too many Rat Ogres in this build, and that could be the downfall of Hadri's potentially. Oh, a big Burning Head's going to be coming down, and it doesn't do as much against armor, but still pretty fat. And Hadri's rats do kind of get cooked a little bit as the Burning Head goes all the way down that really, really tightly packed formation. But now the Storm Vermin are going to be surging up. And wow, look at this. Some of the Chaos Chariots actually getting broken back. And the dreaded 13th spell is what did it. So we see the dreaded 13th spell from Hadri's on the other side. It nukes part of the Chaos formation. And where are the Rat Ogres? Dude, I love the Skaven Bell. It's one of the coolest things. Just hearing that ominous tone right there. So big shot coming in. Shattered Chaos Chariots looking very, very good for the Skaven formation. We do get the double Chieftains moving into the main battle line. Very strange. Oh, they're going after the Chariots. Okay. So we get the double Chieftain, for sure going to be trying to intercept the Chariots, and the big boys, the big rats, who make all the rules, are able to stop up the Chariots here. And now they're going to be pulling back to the main formation to try and protect the Mortars from the Manticore. A lot of pressure in the backfield from Razel, though. Razel does have a lot of horsemen everywhere. Forsaken are able to buckle the flanks here. So the Skaven slaves do get overwhelmed. The dreaded 13th rats are going to be heading back in. One Manticore being dragged down by the Council Guard. That's got to feel pretty good. One of the best feelings for sure for the rats is taking out Manticores and things like that. And so far the Mortars are still online, but just barely for Hadri's. They'll probably get a couple more shots off because the rat formation on the flank, the Storm Vermin over here, though holding like absolute champions. Look at that. Very, very good. Wow. They broke those Forsaken as well as those Chaos Marauders and are also holding back some of the Marauder Horsemen. And look at this. Hadri's gets the Goon on the Fire Sorcerer. That's huge. That's potentially going to get rid of future Burning Heads. Although, is he going to go for the kill to chase it off? No, it doesn't look like it. So Manticores diving in on the Poison Wind Mortar, or the Manticore, I should say. And the double Hadri's Chieftain here, able to move in and take down that Chaos Manticore for sure. They are going to take that thing to Poundland if you're in the UK. Pound Stretcher. The pounds will be stretched. And these things hit very, very hard for sure. 451. Chaos Feral Manticore is certainly on death's bed. These Chieftains do not mess around. They're very quick, and I think are an awesome tool. Dude, look how quickly these rats just beat down this Manticore. That was like a straight-up bully beatdown right there. And that is a big, big win for Hadri's. Getting rid of the terror routes is huge. Now, aside from that, Mortar's still going, but it looks like Razel is going to be shutting those bad boys down. Sigvald is a little bit problematic to deal with, but good micro and 2 Chieftains should be able to do the trick with like ample cycle charging and things like that. Chaos has compromised many of the formations, but even, 4 or 5 minutes into the battle here, which is very long in Warhammer 2, the Warp Lightning Cannon is still online. It's just now being taken down by the Forsaken here. The Skaven still probably do have a fair amount of Winds of Magic as well. Mortar teams are still somehow alive, and Chaos is on a bit of a mass rout here, as Hadri's does smell the blood in the water. You can see the double Chieftain's going to go in. That Fire Sorcerer just getting absolutely punched right there. And, Horsemen coming in to try and rescue this bad boy. Don't know if they'll be able to. They're very shaken themselves. They're at 4 leadership. Skaven Chieftains, man. These guys are pretty darn cool. And we do see the Grey Seer nearby, giving the nice local buffs. And here's the Storm Vermin. Another Burning Head coming down. But the Armored Rats, man, they're holding on like champs. Burning Head is much, much weaker in Warhammer 3. Pretty much all the wind spells got nerfed pretty heavily because they were pretty damn OP before. Like, Burning Head single-handedly counters an entire faction in the Tomb Kings. It basically just kind of, like, ruins your day every single time. You're like, oh, I want to bring in some infantry. Oh, never mind, they're all gone. So, Storm Vermin holding back the Forsaken. Hadri's looking to be taking control in this game. Beating down the Chaos Sorcerer, who's now on the run. Sigvald tries to help, but the Chieftains are getting the double beatdown on Sigvald. Unholy Clamor as well is going to be giving leadership and vigor to these bad boys. I can't help but think going after Sigvald right now might be a little bit of a mistake. Like, I feel like they might get him, but maybe killing the Fire Sorcerer first is better, but I don't know. Hadri certainly knows this Skaven better than me. And Sigvald does appear to be losing this fight in the 2v1, though he is very slippery. He does have the speed and melee defense buff. Going to be going after the Grey Seal. Mortar is still shooting. Look at this. Did I say Grey Seal? Oh, man. Brain's just all over the place today. But Mortar is able to break those Marauder Horsemen there. Very, very strong. Skaven still have a lot of infantry left, too. They have the Council Guard here. Got Clan Rats here. Storm Vermin with Halberds. And they're just all over the place with these goodies. And once again, the Chieftain bouncing back and forth. Sigvald's kind of getting his butt kicked, man. Normally Sigvald is like almost impossible to kill in this matchup, but the double Chieftain is doing the trick. Another character who can kill Sigvald is the Deathmaster with good cycle charging. I think in a straight fight Sigvald wins, but it's with cycle charging and, you know, Eshin shenanigans and things like that. Typically the Skaven will be totally fine. Council Guard will pretty decisively defeat these Forsaken, especially with the support of the Grey Seer. If we look down here, you can see the Forsaken buckling under the weight of these albino rats. The Grey Seer just kind of... Dude, this is one of the best animations in the game, by the way. The Grey Seer just like swinging around like a madman up on this bill. It's one of the most Skaven things ever. I love it. Look at him just cheering and shit. GG, well played! That is going to be a victory for Hadries and the Skaven. 2-1. Very well played to Razel. Razel putting on an absolute clinic in the Beastmen matchup, but is going to be dropping to the Lord of Skaven. And there's no shame in losing to Hadries and a Skaven. That is some legendary stuff for sure. Massive value on the Chieftains. And honestly, they carried the game. And them and the Warp Lightning Cannon and Council Guard are just so good here. So good. GG, well played. All right, so that is going to be a 2-1 victory there. Hadries will be winning the series. And now we have Human Boy versus Evenstar. The second top side of the bracket will be battling to see who will go to battle the Lord of the Skaven. All right, so GG, well played. Oh, wait, they took chat away in Warhammer 2 also? Oh, that's so annoying, dude. That is so annoying. All right, so if you guys could jump out of the lobby, that'd be greatly appreciated. GG, well played. Clear lobby, please. And let's go ahead and set up the picks and bans for the next best of 3. Evenstar versus Human Boy. Yes, yes. All right, cool. Score is 0-0. And let's get this all set up. Picks and bans. It is going to be Evenstar versus Human Boy. Let us see who will win in this glorious duel of fates. We may never know. Let's see if they can get into this lobby. All right. So Human Boy and Evenstar, you two are up. Good luck, have fun. Lobby's up. There's not too many lobbies now, so those guys should be able to find it for sure. They should be able to find it. Yeah, they removed chat. We have to pay for the chat DLC. That's right. Hadries knows. We have to pay for the chat DLC. So Human Boy's in here. Very good. So let's get this updated. Sorry, guys, about the graphics. We'll do Human Boy versus Evenstar. Reset scores. Update that. And we are back in the lobby. Melody, they took your chat away so you can use mine instead. Happy Warhammer 2 Day. Hey, thank you so much, Melody. Greatly appreciate that. They removed chat when the game came to the Epic Store. Is that what happened? They eshined all these features without really communicating it clearly. I think they're going to reintroduce it at some point. So I got to give the players the maps real quick. All right, so maps are Pillar of Bone, Karak, Buffdar, and then we have Galbaraz. All right. So I know by popular demand, we are back with the Bone Zone, baby. The Bone Zone is the most glorious map in the history of Warhammer. And it is back. Lich109 says, Turin, out of curiosity, how do you think Stormfiends will be added to the game despite being end times units? Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a bunch of end times units. Like, I bet you Nurgle will eventually get like some sort of a Blight Lord unit. Like, yeah, I think they'll totally do it. Stormfiends are just super cool. Why would they not want to add those? And plus, there's still models that are being sold by Games Workshop, so I think they're even more incentivized to have them in the game. Hadri says, now I wish I had gone Queek as a Sigvald counter/meme, but I need a bellboy to nuke a Hell Cannon on that map. Yeah, well played, well played. Hey, Stiller, I'm doing very good. The Bone Zone is here. Ooh. All right, so taking a look at the picks and bans here, let's go ahead and break it down. Boom, we are back. So, looking at Evenstar's picks, he went Vampire Counts and Greenskins. Vampire Counts and Greenskins, and his opponent responded with Skaven. Now, this is a very, very Chad play from Human Boy, because, in my opinion, Skaven are countered by both Vampire Counts and Greenskins. So he counterpicked himself, because he is just a true warlord of the Skaven. And Evenstar is going to be selecting the Vampire Counts for his pick. So that is that, ladies and gentlemen. The picks and bans have been determined. And let us switch back to the lobby and get this party started. It is a small map. So not a lot of Skaven artillery options, but, you know. Sounds good. Hey, Human Boy, thank you so much for sharing those. And we're here, man. We're here. It's happening. The old world has returned to us in our time of need. All right, perfect. Cool and cool. All righty. Skaven versus Vampire counts. Now, this is one of the great parts about having players like Human Boy make it to the top 4. Not only is he a very good player, but he's also willing to just like take weird matchups. So you guys get to see things that you normally wouldn't get to see. Like, this is not a common matchup at all. It is very winnable for Skaven. Like, it can be won, but typically I think it's up to the Vampire counts to lose it. Like, Vampire counts typically have very, very good matchups here. Six Sweetness. He's been a member for 3 months. Thanks for the stream, Turin. Do we know when Warhammer 3 will have all the factions in multiplayer yet? Yeah. So that's going to be happening in August, is what they said, I think, on their blog. So we're going to be getting an early look on July 9th and 10th in the Immortal Empires early access tournament we're having, the Summer Championships. But then, from there, I believe it's going to go into beta in August, which everyone will have access to. It's not an auto lose for Skaven. Yeah, I don't think it is, but it's hard. It's very hard, especially against like a world champion level player like Evenstar. It's not going to be easy. It is not going to be easy for sure. Six Sweetness, I don't know. That's a tough question, man. That's a tough one. It's going to be, a lot of us are just going to be, I'm so excited to see what the domination meta looks like with all the old world factions in it. I still think Vampire counts are going to be crazy good, but so will Skaven and all this stuff, yeah. Does sound work for you? Yeah, it should work. Vlad, that might just be you, brother. Although, you can't hear me if you're saying there's no sound, so. Yeah. Yeah, probably Fidel. Probably. All right. So, what the hell is this monstrosity? Helmengorst. Oh my god, it's Helmengorst. If the Skaven had come in with like a Warp Lightning Cannon or something, dude, Helmengorst would just get Shadow Realm so hard. So, looking at the Skaven build, it is going to be Skaven Slaves, Skaven Slave Spears. We have Gorich. Dude, Human Boy is just memeing so hard right now. We have Gorich. He's like, "Rawr." All right, we got Gorich. We have a Packmaster. And we have a Gracier of Plague. Where's the rest of the army? Is this it? Oh, okay. We got Mortars in the back, Rat Ogres into the Sunset, including the Pit Fighters. And it's going to be a bunch of Night Runners. Yeah, Night Runners, Night Runners, Night Runners. To probably kill Crypt Horrors and also target like other big monsters and things like that. Okay, so Evenstar doesn't meme. I have never seen Evenstar meme in any of his games. So Helmengorst is actually is decent here, right? Like he's like a relatively hard to kill Mortis engine. So what you do is you get Helmengorst and you don't bring him as your caster. You bring him as your Mortis engine because it only costs like 700 or 800. So you're getting a really like discount Mortis engine, which is a little bit slower. Then you bring all your spells on your Necromancer, which is what he's done. Yeah, he does have the Gaze of Nagash, Raise Dead, as well as Invocation. Double Black Coach, and a couple Crypt Ghouls. That's pretty much it. Dude, I can't believe. No, the true fun picks go to Human Boy here, 100%. Because Evenstar is not memeing. Evenstar does not meme. I don't think he knows what that means. He's here for blood. And you can see that the Crypt Ghouls getting poked on the side a little bit. Zombies moving forward as well. This Skaven army, though, has some elements which are good, but it's also very memey itself. Like, I feel like Skaven should get a Plague Priest on a Bell. I feel like them having a Mortis engine is really good against vampires also. But the Double Chieftain, something like that can be good. I mean, there is a chance that Gorich could just go Super Saiyan. Like, Gorich will beat the brakes out of a foot-based White King, for sure, if they fight. Like, Gorich is very, very tough. And, you know, that wouldn't be a bad idea, actually. So, Gorich is going to be going in for the first fight. And he gets a huge shot on that White King. We also get Ogres moving in, and you know what? This might actually be pretty good if Gorich can get the fight. Packmaster coming in for the Goon as well. Oh no, the Packmaster saved the White King. It knocked him over to the Blood Knights and the Crypt Horrors here. Oh, this is gonna suck so bad. Blood Knights just getting a full charge onto the Pit Fighters here. Human Boy needs to drop like the dreaded 13 spell here right now. Otherwise, it's probably just GG. Those Blood Knights are just gonna hammer this whole position. Crypt Horrors as well. And more Blood Knights coming in for the surround here. Oh god, the dreaded spell coming down. I think we do get the Mortars coming across, so we do have Globadiers. And the dreaded 13 spell does chunk the Blood Knights down to a very low amount of health. But the problem for the Skaven is, the Vampire counts have a Mortis engine here. Rat Ogres are just getting absolutely dunked on. And we do get Globadier attacks as well, hitting into the blob, but overall, I think that Evenstar got the better engagement. The two Blood Knights were able to just hammer in from either side and really, really cause a ton of problems for sure. In the back, we do have a couple Night Runners, Globadiers, still trying to help, but Skaven are not going to function very well in this blob considering they don't have a Mortis Engine. Of course, the Bellman here does not have one. The Plague Priest does have one when he's on the bell, but aside from that, they are not a thing. Storm Vermin summons are pretty much the backbone which is holding the Skaven army together here. It is the piece of tape that is doing its job. And you know what? They did actually wipe out a Blood Knight unit, so maybe the Skaven aren't in as bad of a shape as you would think, but I mean, I feel like they're just really relying on summons because the rest of the Skaven army got folded like a piece of paper. Like, they had this nice little SEM blob. Like, I feel like if Skaven want to play like a blob, they should just go all in on the blob instead of trying to have like ranged elements and these different tools back here. But this is looking pretty grim bones. Unless Gorich just summons the Electro Rats here and just goes crazy. I don't see that happening. Packmaster is getting his butt kicked by the Black Coach. Gaze of Nagash coming down as well from the Necromancer back here, able to kind of hit into the Grey Seer. And Gorich doing his like weird ass spinning animations. Helman Gorst pretty much just Mortis Engineing down all of the rats here. So any infantry that do come and try and help are just getting nuked by the Mortis Engine. The distance, we see some Night Runners, which are effectively kiting the Crypt Ghouls. And here bats are getting dragged around. Okay, so Night Runner's not doing a bad job for Human Boy. He's able to kind of drag away some of these guys. So not bad in that regard. Now back to the epicenter of combat. The only thing that really matters in this game, a little bit of a scorch from the rats, is going to be clearing up some of the summons and whatnot. Gorich is they're going after Helman Gorst now. The Crypt Horrors are very, very tough to kill. There are going to be a couple more basic summons most likely. We'll see some Clan Rats coming in. We do see the Rat Ogres still surprisingly holding. Necromancer just lurking in the wings, perfectly safe. And what's really funny about this is like Evenstar forgot about his Black Coach for like a long time. The Black Coach is over here, and like even still he's in a very, very commanding position. Dude, I just don't think it's like Gorich is so expensive. And I don't know, I'm curious what kind of value he got this game. We have the bumper cars, the glory of Warhammer 2. We have Helman Gorst ramming a bell here, and the bell ramming Helman Gorst. Gorich is still alive, confident, but probably not for long. Skaven certainly on their last legs. The Packmaster is also being misplayed a little bit. I think he should probably go after the Necromancer in open field, but he's pretty much dead at this point. There's not going to be any fat heals for him. He's at 6 leadership. Maybe he gets that guy. It's hard to say. Nope, looks like the Packmaster is going to be broken, and army losses will most likely kick in for the Skaven here in a minute, as the Vampires just have a lot left. I mean, there's a full health Black Coach over here. Gorich is so bad at his job. He is. He's terrible. Gorich is like a massive meme unit. I wonder how much value he got. Oh, hey, Gorich got 1,500 value. Okay. Making us eat our words a little bit. But, yeah, like, the rest of the Skaven army, the Skaven engagement was just really rough. Like, the entire Skaven Rat Ogre and Gorich force got hammered by 2 Blood Knights on either side right away. And it was just game blouses at that point. So that is going to be game 1. Going to Evenstar, an epic meme build from Human Boy, I think. But that was not it. That was not it. All right, so the next map is going to be Karak Buftar. So where art thou? Karak Buftar. Perfect, perfect. Curses. Curses. The Black Coach is here, baby. No mercy being shown this day. So we'll switch on over to the picks and bans once again. Kind of clear those up. Evenstar is up 1-0 here. And here we go. So Evenstar won the first game. We obviously don't have the maps kind of programmed in this. If we were playing Warhammer 3, you know, I could like pick maps and things like that. But this is designed for Warhammer 3, so we don't have all the maps from Warhammer 2 kind of programmed in yet. We probably won't, because they're going to be, you know, we're going to be on Warhammer 3 exclusively pretty soon. Gorich tried. He tried. That was a very alpha play for sure, but it's just a little bit too much. All right. So I'm getting tagged somewhere here. Let's see. Oh, nice. Okay, so picks and bans for the next game. We have Greenskins and Beastmen coming in from Human Boy. So Greenskins and Beastmen for Human Boy. Now it is time for Evenstar to do his pick. Let us see if Human Boy can get back on the board after the dreaded Helman Gorst came in and showed no mercy. Yeah, Karak Buftar is here. It is. Funny how Warhammer 2 UI is so much. It's tricky. Yeah, there's things that Warhammer 2 does better, and there's things that Warhammer 3 does better. There's a lot of nice quality of life improvements for Warhammer 3. Like being able to see damage value is so nice. How much does the map influence army comps? Jack, a lot. Massively. Yeah, maps are a big determining factor. Like smaller maps, obviously, you know, artillery isn't going to be as common. It's a very, very different beast. It's a very, very different beast. So what is the response going to be from Evenstar? We have not seen it yet. We have not seen it yet. Lotus Moon asks, likely to run more Warhammer 2 events? Yeah, I'll run a couple. Yeah, I'll run a couple more. I'll probably, you know, have a Warhammer 2 event like once per week going up until the July event. You know, because in July we're going to be getting probably an early look at Immortal Empires, and I would imagine I'll probably be given some sort of access and can share it with you guys then. So then it'll be a different beast for sure. Gorge is like those big muscle guys who don't have any skill, mostly looks. For sure, for sure. That's a great analogy. We had that. That's a very common thing. Like there was a couple guys I went to high school with who never did any traditional sports, right? They were, you know, not necessarily into fitness in high school, but in their like late 20s, early 30s, they kind of got into it and they got like super jacked. But then you would go play like a game of basketball or ultimate frisbee with them, and you could really see the the lack of the athletic skills there, aside from lifting weights, of course. Yeah. Vampire Coast? I can see Evenstar doing that, actually. I can see that. He hasn't done his pick yet. He hasn't done it. Oh god, I feel a doomsday sneeze coming on. Oh. God damn. Cursed allergies today, dude. I can't wait for the winter. When the winter comes around, I don't have allergies, but it's just like the spring and the summer is just like absolute death. It is the end. Give me the dwarfs. Still waiting for your League of Legends stream? Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that again. It was kind of fun. It was kind of a fun one. Okay. He went Vampirates. Okay, so it's going to be Vampire Counts versus Greenskins. So Evenstar goes Vampirates, and it is going to be a Greenskins pick here. Very cool. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be game 2. Vampirates versus the Greenskins. I ran away from the mic for that, so thank you guys. I really do appreciate that. All right, we're all set. Dad sneeze activate, dude. I do have a dad sneeze. I don't have any kids, but I do have a dad sneeze. Yeah. I do have a dad sneeze. Yeah, it's suffering, dude. It's just pure suffering. May the grandfather heal you. I know. That sounded like Goofy. There should be in-game sound. Yeah, there's in-game sound on. You're good. No, yes, I did see the new League champ, yeah. I don't really play League of Legends, though. I play it like once every 6 months. Just if my wife is playing and she like hits me up, you know, I'll because my wife plays League of Legends. She plays mostly ARAMs, but we'll get on a Rift and play bot lane. I used to be Diamond back in the day. Back in like 2013, 2014, I was Diamond with Draven and a couple other characters. But that was a long time ago. That was when Diamond, I think, was the second highest? I don't remember. I think there was like a GM or something. Hey, Arrow. This takes me back. I know, man. Why didn't you sign up today, Arrow? Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think you're probably at work today. Yeah, Arrow's all excited. Yeah. My dad had the loudest sneezes ever, so I think I just inherited it from him. Yeah. And it's funny because my dad was not a big guy. He was about 5'6", maybe 160 pounds. He's very muscular, but was a shorter gentleman. My mom was 5'6" as well, or is 5'6", and but all of her brothers are like 5'11", 6 foot, which is where I got my height from. I'm about 5'11" myself, 5'10" and a half. But the sneeze I think I got from my dad. He's got like the Terminator sneeze. It used to scare me as a child. Like I used to get like scared of it. Dude, it's so funny. Like, I kind of had forgotten about the Warhammer 2 meta, and then we're back with this. And I'm like, oh, this is like the grand finals of like every faction war. It's like this matchup. Yeah, double gunnery white. Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. Yep, it's going to be Greenskins versus the Vampire Coast. Yeah, I hear you, Arrow. I hear you. I'll be having these on weekends. This weekend I'm a little bit busy, but... Derek asking Arrow in chat, do you miss drafting 20-page rules documents and then having people get mad at you for every little thing? You got to include that caveat, because that's part of it too. Yeah, no worries, Arrow. Well, hope you have a nice little dinner adventure with your friend or partner there. Not sure what, but hope it goes well for you, man. That is quite a sneeze. Believe me, managing the banner rules has been by far the worst experience of his life. That's quite a statement, dude. That's quite a statement. Although in a way that could be a testament to how the rest of your life has been good in many ways, right? If that's like the worst thing, yeah. Well, that's why domination mode is just great, because you don't have to deal with that stuff. But domination mode has its flaws. There's things I don't love about domination mode, but what's really nice is like I've had friends get into this game and now they picked it up easier because of that, and then yeah. Like the fact that monstrous infantry have the same capture weight as infantry really bothers me. I don't like that in domination mode. It's so stupid. Like spearmen should be able to outcap like a giant fast armored beast, you know? Yeah. You want to see the rogue idol? All right. Yeah, this looks pretty standard stuff. Classic Duel of Fates. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen this before. 2 gunnery whites. I expected this to be like different today. I was like, yeah, we're gonna get back into Warhammer 2. I'm gonna be seeing the Empire. I'm gonna be seeing the High Elves. But then I remembered. I'm like, oh wait, I put up a prize. So we have the double gunnery whites. We have Count Noctilus out here, a mortar to kill archers, bombers with deckhand mobs, halberds, and a bunch of gun bats up in the sky. Check it out, baby. Check it out. The magic is upon us. Professor Poe, no controversy today. We have not had a single rule break. I cannot believe it. Not a single rule break today, which is weird. Which is very weird. But it's going to be deck droppers with handguns, most likely to snipe lords and characters. Count Noctilus mortars to deal with the archers, and Scab's Grace to also deal with the mass archers and whatnot. Looking at the Greenskin army, it is going to be Orc Biggins into the Sunset and Orc Boys. Very standard, because Biggins kill zombies, and they also can deal with Morghuls, and they can fight crabs relatively okay. So a lot going on there. But mass archers. That's why sometimes I like to see Queen Bess in this matchup, because she can pretty much like 2 or 3 shot some of these Orc archers. Oh my god, he did not bring Grom the Paunch. Oh no. Yeah, it's just a $50 prize, nothing huge. But he did not bring Grom the Paunch, guys. He brought Wurzag on foot against like quad deck dropper handgunner. This is going to be a disaster. This is going to be a disaster. Oh no. I feel like Wurzag is going to like come out of the trees. Evenstar is just going to get a full chub and just see this like sitting foot character that he could just snipe. Grom the Paunch is the way in this matchup, 100%. But, you know, our boy, human boy, he likes to, well, he may not be human. He may also be a Skaven. We don't know. But he's got some tricks up his sleeve, I'm sure. His memes will become reality, and he'll certainly do well with them, I'm sure. Now, Count Noctilus is going to be shooting down into the Orc era, boys. This human boy does advance up with everything. He's got the Orc Biggins. Oh, we got Orc Boar Chariots on the other side as well. Check this out. Hell yeah, dude. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. The Orc Boar Chariots, just the most haggard chariots in the old world. They'll be really good here. Like, Vampire Coast doesn't really have a lot of mass. Those chariots could probably just run in and just start ravaging this army. But in the meantime, Evenstar doing a big flank overload. So you notice that he doesn't approach the main formation of archers. Rather, he moves over to this side, and he is able to kind of isolate some of the archers here. The archers are going to have to turn and shoot, but Scab's Grace, very effective here. And Noctilus also dropping a really nice zombie summon. So Evenstar kind of flexing some of those old school skills here as he blockades the archer formation. I really do think that the chariots need to get in there. We do have Effigy of the Git, though. That's actually kind of nice. So maybe Effigy is going to be really good because he could lock down either Count Noctilus or a Gunnery White, one of these other characters. But you can already see a bit of a mass route. You can see Orc Era Boys here, Orc Era Boys here, and more Goblin Archers are fleeing the scene. But, you know, the things can change once the Greenskin melee does get in there. I'm surprised Wurzag isn't on his pig at least, so we can kind of get a little bit closer. Trying to kill Count Noctilus right now. We do see another summon. Scab's Grace going down on the Goblin Archers. And here it comes, baby! Here it comes. The haggard Orc Chariots, they don't even know how to penetrate through the first rank. Are they even doing any damage? I feel like they just didn't charge there. Oh my god, a Noctilus with the downtown shot. Brutal stuff. But here comes the Wa. The Orc Biggins are going to be engaging against the deckhand mobs here. Archers moving up in every direction. Wurzag going to be triggering the Bonewood Staff, so melee attack buff for the entire Greenskin army every time he casts. Archers are being chased by deck droppers, but this actually isn't necessarily terrible for Greenskins. It's like the fact that these like things aren't sniping. Like none of these bats right now, guys, are sniping Wurzag. They're all kind of just like chasing random shit. They could be killing Wurzag right now for sure. But this is where it gets a little bit scary. Granted, the chariots do get karate chopped a little bit by the gunnery wights, which a little bit of a handling mistake with those. Also, Human Boy is a little bit bunched up. Like his whole front line kind of engaged in a weird blob instead of getting a surround. A little bit idle over here too. Like these units need to be crumping through. So just some slight user error here from Human Boy. Could potentially cost him the game for sure. Granted, Count Noctilus is getting dunked on pretty hard. Oh, Effigy of the Git going down. He's getting sniped. Will the memes become a reality? Look at this. He's weak binding. Invocation going down. Heals for about 864 HP. But Noctilus is getting blasted into another dimension by all the Haggard orc shooting here. If Noctilus were to go down, that would probably give Human Boy a pretty good fighting chance. But overall, I think Evenstar is still in a little bit more of a commanding position. The sloppy chariot play, and also the the delay on these guys engaging on the flanks, because this chariot or this infantry squad could potentially have already killed these polearms and maybe have been on the mortars already. A little bit tricky. A little bit tricky indeed. Now we do get the gunnery wight. Going to be going for the duel with Wurzag. The Great Green Prophet says get back here, and he goes in for the fight and does get punted by the crab. Noctilus fleeing the scene. I would imagine Noctilus will be the sole target, the sole recipient of a bunch of kind of bombardment spells right here. We will certainly have to see. Looking back here, we do see another beautiful Scab Scrape coming down, which could be buckling the Greenskin formation, as they do try and get a little bit of a concave to shoot into the Orc Airboys here, or excuse me, into the crab. But the crab does have a ton of armor, so he's going to be tough to kill. Another Brainbuster on top of the bombers, not bad, but they've already pretty much killed all the Greenskin infantry, though the zombie front line is very tattered as well. Orc Boys in the back getting blasted. Count Noctilus just kind of sitting here cackling, and Human Boy is going to be withdrawing from the game. GG, well played. Certainly a winnable game for both sides, but Evenstar just had the better engagements, the better targeting, and was able to pull out the W. So, gunnery wight's not bad. Mortars, they tried their best. Really, it just came down to a couple little missed micros with the chariots. I don't know where they even went. They should have been like force pathing through to get on top of some of the other targets. Granted, their mass might not be super good. But yeah, Evenstar just played a very clean, very meta game. GG. Well played. Human Boy, a champ as always, man. But Evenstar will be advancing on to the grand finals. Couldn't move them. The chariots were kind of stuck. Oh, that sucks, man. Yeah, that sucks. It happened to the best of us. So, Evenstar, please stay in this lobby if you're here. Hadries can go ahead and join this bad boy. We will reset this. Hadries will be on his way in. And Human Boy, a pleasure as always casting your games, my friend. A pleasure as always. Okay, one sec here. Alrighty, perfect. And perfect. Alright. And getting the picks and bans all set up. And we're good to go. You tried force pathing, but they wouldn't move? Yeah. Okay, so clearly something was up with them. Classic stuff. Yeah, Hadries is playing. He's here in the grand finals. It's Hadries versus Evenstar and a best of 5 showdown here. So let's go ahead and get this set up for the best of 5. Where is that? Finals. Finals, baby. Thank you all for joining. It's been a fun day of games. We've gotten to see some cool Skaven play for sure. From both Hadries as well as the legendary Human Boy. And let's set this up. Perfect. So the maps, well, let's go ahead and give them the maps here. Okay, Hadries and Evenstar. Maps are, we can do Iron Sand Desert. We can do we gotta have the Pillar of Bone in there, man. The Pillar of Bone has to happen. And then what else do we want to have? I don't remember all the maps quite like I used to. And the Mosquito Swamps. All right, cool. Please do picks and bans here. All right. So the die is cast. And it is on, ladies and gentlemen. One sec, gonna take a quick drink of water. All right, I return. My friends. We need Empire and Bretonnia to be played? Empire, pretty low probability based on the players who are playing right now. For sure going to be Greenskins, Vampire Counts, and Vampire Coast for Evenstar. Those are kind of his factions in my experience. I think he also plays some of the elves. I think Evenstar can also play a little bit of elf action. We'll have to see. Skjold? Oh god. Don't put that evil on us, dude. Don't put that evil on us. No, Skjold. Yeah, we're in the finals, man. Warhammer 2 battles are much quicker than Domination. But one of the things about Warhammer 2 land battles is that army picks can take a long time. Sometimes people just go like deep into that. So the first map is going to be Oakenhammer here. And let's go here, switch on over to the picks and bans, and see what these fine players will be doing. Will Dark Elves be playable? All the factions will be playable in Domination once the Immortal Empires comes. Evenstar is going to go Vampire Counts and Greenskins, classic. That's clearly his opening that he likes. And what will be the response from Hadries? Hadries probably saw this in the last match, so he's had a little bit of time to think about how he would do this. Lizardmen. Okay, so Hadries is going to be going Lizards. And that is going to be his pick. So, we are getting the Lizards. I'm pretty hyped for this. It's going to be fun, dude. I always like seeing them. They're a very cool faction. Yes. Evenstar's response has yet to be seen, so we don't know what he is going to be picking here. We actually had Skjold in an Everchosen, which is just a testament to how, like, some of the Everchosens were just super uncompetitive. You know, in some ways. Like, some of the maps were so bad, and the later Everchosens, like the mid to late ones, were competitive, but the first ones were not. Like, if you look at the very first Everchosen, that event literally had, like, maybe 2 competitive players in it. And they ended up playing in the finals. You know, like, everybody else was, like, a campaign player, like, just super casual, right? But, yeah, the first Everchosen was not competitive at all. Yeah, like, I think the average, like, tournament player could have won that event, just like an average tournament player. But the later Everchosens were very competitive. Yeah. Skjold, oh my god. I know this, but is there any tip about... Yeah, so Warhammer 3 Immortal Empires is going to be coming in August, yeah. They've already said that. You're going to get an early look in July, though. So, Vampire Counts. This is very much like who is better at the SEM fights here. So we got Lizardmen versus Vampire Counts. All right. Very good. And we're all set. And we're good to go. Cool. So Lizardmen versus Vampire Counts. 6 sweetness. Okay, I'll have to look into that. We haven't really updated that stuff in a long time. But I'll look into it. Professor Bone says I was in the first ever chosen. Yeah. Hey, yeah, so Harry, glorious last name, by the way. If you want to join the Discord, let me go ahead and show you how. So head on over to Total Tavern, which is my Total War Warhammer esports website. And there's the Discord link up in the top right, which should work. So you can just join the Discord there. You can also sign up for tournaments here. Here's today's tournament, the Return of Warhammer 2. So you can see, all the players. You can follow the brackets. If you want to know when other tournaments are taking place, even if they're not my tournaments, you can go to the main page. And you can, for example, go and see there's a North American Domination tournament happening. You can go and read about it, see all the details, all that sort of good stuff. So it is your hub for all things Warhammer PvP. A little bit of campaign stuff on there as well. But yeah, that is that. That is that, my friend. TotalTavern.com. TotalTavern.com is the website. Let's see here. Perfect. Hey, thank you, Pone. Lobatomir says, found out a few years ago I found out about you. Started trying to learn online to play. One of my first matchups was King of the Dead, and I'm still sore from that beating. Yeah, he's a good player. The finals is best of 5. You know what one of the funniest things about King of the Dead is? So King of the Dead was a pretty good tournament player. I don't think he like won any big community tournaments, but he was always a pretty decent contender and a strong opponent. But King of the Dead does not use groups. He does not use any groups. None. No control groups. Like when you watch him play live, he manually clicks on like every unit in his army, and he's really fast. Like I always told him, I'm like, dude, if you learn to use control groups, you would just be like an absolute terror in the night. But he just refuses to. It's just like that. It makes it so much harder. Yeah, crazy stuff. An absolute meme. Laughs and undead, I know. The undead are coming. It's probably just going to be double Terra Goose with a bunch of Crypt Horrors, and I wonder what Hadries will go for, like a Dread Saurian or something. I don't know. Yeah, he doesn't use control groups. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts, dude. It's absolutely nuts. Yeah, thank you, Melody. Do appreciate that. Yeah, the Chad no control groups. It's so funny. It's so gross. Please ban him. I don't know how he does it. How he gets away with that. You know, it's the weirdest thing, dude. It is the absolute weirdest thing. Ross, that's quite an expression for that. Anticity does use control groups though, doesn't he? Okay, here's the thing though. A lot of people don't use control groups for domination mode. Because domination, you're summoning a new unit, so grouping them is constantly a little bit annoying. But in like land battles, it's a different beast. It's a different beast. Like, yeah, in domination, I use groups for my initial army, but then like as I bring in reinforcements, I'm not putting them in groups and things like that usually. But in land battles, I always had everything grouped. Yeah. It's wild. Hey, well, welcome to the channel. Glad you've been enjoying it. Dude, double Arc of Sotek. You think that will happen? I think it's going to be an SDM goon fight. And whoever gets like the cheesier engagement and like gets the better gooning on the characters is just straight up going to win. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Oakenhammer is the map. The battle soon to be upon us. What sort of treacherous Dreadsaurian play will we see? Yeah, Shelton Apache's a really nice guy. Absolutely. Absolutely. A true OG. So, taking a look at the Lizard Army, firstly, it is going to be the Shredder of Lustria, the Bastillodon. Is that Nakai? Oh my god, it is. Dude, look at this absolute unit of a lizard. So, Nakai the Wanderer, a Manticore Summoner with the Flock of Doom, a couple Star Spears to kind of sit on. The rest of the army is going to be Chameleon Skinks to kind of drag the Vampire Count army through with some Skink Skirmishers. And we do have Arc of Sotek, a Bastillodon, and the Shredder of Lustria. Oh my god, dude. Look at this monstrosity. Look at this monstrosity. Oh, jeez. The Shredder and Nakai. If Hadri's beats Evenstar with this, that's going to be pretty hilarious for sure. Now, looking at Evenstar's army, it's going to be zombies backed up by Graveguard Great Weapons because you need them to kill the Temple Guard just in case they are brought. Couple spears on the flanks. It will be Helman Gorst on the cheap Mortis Engine once again. Vargulf? Yep, double Vargulf to fight the SEMs. Bats, and I think that's it. That's pretty much it. Very simple army. Yeah, so what this army does is it Mortis Engines down the supporting lizards, and then it cycle charges and tar pits the big monsters and beats them down with Vargulfs. No Life Mage. I know, I was expecting a Life Mage with the Dreadsaurian, but Nakai is here. I can't believe Nakai is here, dude. I just... Hadri's is truly a madman. Honestly, though, I kind of really like the skirmishing element of his build. Evenstar didn't bring any like hounds or anything like that, or any pursuit tools. So the skirmishers should have somewhat of free range to like shoot the Vargulfs and like shoot Helman Gorst. I think this is actually a pretty good build from Hadri's. Even though it has some characters and elements that are memes in it, I don't think it is truly a meme build at its core. We do see Nakai, but he does have Perfect Vigor, right? So Nakai gives an aura of Perfect Vigor, so in these long, grindy fights against vampires, the nearby dinosaurs are not going to get tired. And Vigor penalties are pretty substantial, right? So, he's moving up. Yeah, the Mortis Engine, not going to be that great. It'll do some work against the Spears, but that's more or less it. And the rest of the dinos here are pretty independent. Also, we do have a Rev Crystal, so even though there's no healer, the Rev Crystal is going to be able to drop some fat heals. And what are the Skanks going to shoot? Are they actually going to be shooting at the zombies and stuff? It's hard to say. So they're moving up, and oh my god, are they just going to go after Helman Gorst? This is so funny. Hadri's is just going to be getting the Dreadsaurian up, leaving the rest of his armies back. So yeah, just doing a little bit of poking and skirmishing. Going after the Skeleton Spears. Interesting choice. Okay, so maybe trying to get rid of some of the anti-large so his big dinos can do the trick. We'll have to see. Skeleton Spearmen going to be on the retreat. No, they're still pushing up. They do have the bronze shields. They're not the good shields. The Dreadsaurian does also have ammo on the side, so he's just going to kind of go get some of those free darts right there. I really do wish we had army value, though. I really do wish we did. That would be kind of fun. Wearing down some of the zombies here, so just trying to get rid of some of the chaff. Even though it's only, 100 gold here and there, I suppose it's worth kind of poking a little bit. Nakai sitting up here, and looks like Evenstar is trying to chase the skinks, but obviously to not much success. They're not going to catch those guys. The Shredder of Lustria Kite, though, very, very strong. Vampire Count front line taking a little bit of work. Could we see some early Flock of Dooms? The Lizard Army obviously has the full skirmish, so it doesn't really need to be too crazy. And one of the ways you can kind of abuse the attacking rule in Warhammer 2 is Hadri's could just be shooting with like half of these guys and then keeping the other ones back and then just like rinse and repeat so you can have a little bit more skirmish time. You could totally do that, so. Yeah, the Dread Saurian, some people in chat asking about the Dread Saurian against the, compared to the Carnosaur. Well, the Dread Saurian can fight monsters pretty well, but also it clears infantry, whereas the Carnosaur isn't really good at clearing out like Graveguard, skeletons, all that kind of stuff, right? So I actually am a fan of the Dread Saurian here. Gaze of Nagash going down. Going to be going after Nakai? No. Oh, he's trying to snipe the Rev Crystal. Interesting. So the Rev Crystal getting popped a little bit, while the Skink Skirmishers just kind of moving about, slowly wearing down the front line. The blob fight will happen soon. It's just kind of like a posturing phase. Hey, thank you for the donation. The 69. Not 6969, dude. Hell yeah, this gentleman knows how to live. At the dawn of the third day, he has returned. Take this erect, succulent, pulsing donation. Thank you, man. I do appreciate that. And it truly is the blessed number, so. And hey, man, Hadri's is getting free value here. He's killing some random zombies. You can see the mere presence of the Chad Saurian is certainly putting some hurt. But on that same note, the vampiric magic here is doing an excellent job of sniping the Bastillodon. Now, remember, though, in sniping the Bastillodon here, he is casting overcasted shotguns from Helm and Gorst, which does a lot of damage against armor, but also there's not going to be as much Winds of Magic for, like, invocations and things like that. Oh my god, is this all he has? This Vampire Count build has no healing and no Raised Dead. It has a Vampire of Death, and it has Helm and Gorst. With the Liber Noctis. Oh my god. Thank you so much for that donation, by the way. Really do appreciate that. So zombies are slowly dying, but so too is the Bastillodon. The Bastillodon's just going to go hide. I can't remember if the Bastillodon can heal itself. It's been a while since I've used this bad boy. So the Rev Crystal's going to be scurrying away. No, that's right. The Rev Crystal can't heal itself. So very clever play from Evenstar to try and snipe that bad boy out. A couple spears are going to go support this on the wings. That's a really, really good play. Yeah, it can't heal itself. Now, this is much more cost-effective shooting down the Graveguard here. But, you know, the Vampire Counts aren't getting a blob fight like they probably want. Dread Saurian thinking about getting in there. I think going over here to maybe go after these guys might be a little bit safer. It is certainly tough to break these Skeleton Spearmen, though. A big heal going down. So Evenstar gathers. Wait, he does have a heal. Oh, he has another Necromancer on the cart right there. Okay. So that guy does have Raised Dead and Invocation. I was going to say, no healing Vampire Counts is really, really weird. That would be very strange. But, like, Evenstar is probably running a little bit tight on magic. Like, he'll get this one off. Oh, is he going to get a block? Oh! The Skinks eat a lot of those shots there. The brave Skink Skirmishers just champing those shots, man. He does have a Necromancer. I did miss that. I did miss it indeed, so my apologies. But, oh, the snakes, baby! Here they are. They're on the plane. So the Ark of Sotek launching some snakes onto the Graveguard and then just fleeing the scene. I love the Haggard engagements in this game are just glorious. The Dread Saurian probably going to countercharge the Vargulf here. We'll have to see. Hadri's kind of eyeing these Skeleton Spearmen with it, so maybe he's going to go after the Skeleton Spears. While the Skink Skirmishers shoot the Vargulfs, I mean, that is what should happen right now. Vargulfs are very, very weak to that type of work. Oh, Nakai's going in, baby! Nakai knocks over the Vargulf with his giant thunderous hammer. And now the Dread Saurian's coming in, and this Vargulf is getting bullied super bad. It's getting knocked over, too. Probably also going to be poisoned. In the meantime, Hadri's continues to move back here. And, yeah, the Skink Skirmishers not shooting quite yet. But yeah, one Vargulf is certainly getting its pound stretched. It's being taken to Poundland. Manticore Summon coming out from Hadri's. Another good play. Gonna want to jump in. This Vargulf is actually crumbling already. That's pretty brutal. The Skink Skirmishers should probably go in guard mode right now. So sorry if there's a little bit of lag. Of course, we do have players connecting from all over the realm. So it can happen. But, you know, anyone who's been a Warhammer 2 tournament enjoyer knows about the dreaded lag. Especially if, you know, certain players are here. So the Vargulf probably going to get away. I don't know if Hadri's is going to be able to get that. Maybe, yeah, just get the Manticore Summon to probably attack that Vampire. Evenstar has kind of forgotten about some units. He does have some Spears back here. Cryptor is moving in. Overall, this fight's pretty even. I mean, both players have taken some damage, but I think that Hadri's is in a slightly stronger position here. The Manticore is tied up by Felbats in the sky, which is a little bit unfortunate. A nice play from Evenstar, using a very cheap unit to tie up that expensive piece right there. And honestly, the Vampire Count SCMs seem to be losing the fight a little bit. The shotgun from Helm and Gorst does blast the Bastillodon Ark of Sotek, but both of the Vargulfs are just in bad shape. This one is crumbling right here. It's at -13. Its healing is slightly outpaced by the crumbling mechanic. And the Skink Skirmisher army is actually dragging down many of the Felbats. And these Skink Skirmishers are going to be an absolute nightmare. And look at all the SEMs here for Evenstar. Like, this Vargulf is crumbling. This one just barely stabilized over here. The Chad, a Dread Saurian. Oh my god. Helm and Gorst is getting munched on now, man. Look at this. Helm and Gorst is in some danger as Nakai gets his giant beat stick. Dude, Helm and Gorst is straight up Tokyo drifting circles around Nakai here, but Nakai probably will beat this guy down. My favorite animation is when Nakai just like straight up punches someone. Oh my god, the Dreadsaurian coming in, absolute anarchy. And now Helm and Gorse is probably going to be dying. And there's still a ton of skink skirmishers over here doing an excellent job. With Helm and Gorse being gone too, and the Vargulfs also being a little bit compromised, it's going to be tough. And, you know, I would not expect the Warhammer 2 World Champion to have tactical reserves in the back. He does have the Skeleton Spearman. That's more of a play for myself. But now he realizes the tactical reserves are here. Nope, he's still leaving them. Not that it would make a huge difference. Oh my god, and Helm and Gorse just got broken in half by Nakai. That is not something that I thought I would say when I was waking up today. But Nakai and the Shredder of Lustria now going after the Vampiress here. I don't know what she's doing down here in this territory, but she's got spears in her face. She's fleeing the scene. She's crumbling. Oh my god, it's Jurassic Park. 700 damage. Oh, and the Shredder of Lustria takes her out. Down for the count, baby. And now Nakai turning around with the big Dreadsaurian, and they are going to be going after the Vargulf. Oh my god, that's GG. There's no way. There is no way Hadri's loses this. This is just absolute monster mash, dude. Absolute monster mash. So it looks like Hadri's is going to be taking game 1 here in the grand finals with the Nakai Dreadsaurian beatdown. If somebody were to crash right now, the game, I would just give the game to Hadri's. There's absolutely no chance that this can happen. So Nakai and the Dreadsaurian, by god, he broke him in half. No kidding, dude. People were laughing at the Dreadsaurian, but it is truly a ferocious beast. Dude, look how Chad this Dreadsaurian is. Just look at it. Oh, yeah. Oh, just feast. Personally, I really hate playing against vampire counts. So for me, seeing them get like munched on by a giant Dreadsaurian is a little bit of a release. Because I can feel the suffering of playing against good vampire counts players. Dude, the Dreadsaurian is such a monster. It's the Shredder of Sylvania. It is. Alright guys, value train. 2,400 for Nakai. 3,600 for the Dreadsaurian. Just beautiful play. And I really liked Evenstar's shotgun build. I thought it was pretty good, but I think the skink skirmishers were a big element that kind of caught him off guard. Like, I think they were just really annoying. They took down all the bats. They threatened the Vargulfs. Like, there was a lot of things in that build from Hadri's that I think were very clean. So that is going to be 1-0 for him in the best of 5 grand finals. And let's set this bad boy up. What a game. I love it. I know, that was really good. So the next map is going to be Iron Sand Desert. What will they pick this time around? We'll switch on over to the picks and bans screen so we can see what the players are going to be up to. So 1, 2, 3, and 1 and 2. So Hadri's has a 1-0 lead. Remember, it's best of 5, so Evenstar has plenty of time to make a comeback here. And let's switch on over. Cool. So as soon as the players do the picks and bans, I will make sure to update all of you guys. I do have them open here, and we'll hang tight. Dude, the Shredder just went ape. This is why I think Nakai has a good role in domination. Perfect Vigor is really strong. It is very good in long grindy games. Professor Pone says, Hadri's just accomplishing everything I ever try and making it look easy. Dude, the Shredder of Lustria's value, Matthew, was 3,600. Nakai had to get vindicated in this tourney. He did. Yeah, Hex rates could have been good too, for sure, yeah. They could have chased down the skinks. They have the physical resist. Yeah, it's pretty wild for sure. The Dread aversion. That's right, Nakai does have a leadership debuff too, doesn't he? So, ooh, Hadri's with the picks here. So Hadri's going for Empire. What a Chad. And going for Chaos for his 2 picks. And now we'll see what the response is going to be from Evenstar. I love the Pone comments. Why is it whenever I play Lizardmen versus the best shooting factions there ever is, I lose for bringing the Shredder of Lustria? Yeah, the Ark of Sotek seems good too. Yeah, it's good at punishing vampire count blobs. It does a fair amount of damage for sure. Nakai was a monster. Hey Sotek, you arrived just in time, dude. You arrived to see the Shredder of Lustria and Nakai and all of the big dinosaurs doing some great work. Yeah, Lizardmen certainly claiming the throne. So now we have Empire versus Empire or Chaos versus Evenstar's pick. What is Evenstar going to pick here? Interesting. He plays Greens. I would probably say Greenskins. Oh, this is actually kind of rough for Hadri's. If I'm Evenstar, I'm picking Greenskins here. Greenskins have a 60-40 matchup versus Empire, in my opinion. And also, I would say Greenskins are massively favored versus Warriors of Chaos. Like, Greenskins can bully Chaos Infantry and can out-skirmish them. Like, a wad up Black Orc army just gonna absolutely beast mode on Chaos. Although we did see Chaos start to defeat the Greenskins towards the end of Warhammer 2 a little bit by using Chaos Knights with Plague of Rust to kill Black Orcs. So maybe there's some tricks. Maybe there's some tricks. We will have to see. Sigmar bless you all on this day. That's right, Sigmar is here with us. He is. Still no pick from Evenstar, so we're just kind of hanging out until he does his thing. Yeah, I haven't seen the Obi-Wan show yet. I mean, I'm just happy to see Hayden Christensen and, you know, and all the crew back. I haven't seen it yet, though, but, you know, I'll probably enjoy it someday. I haven't watched, like, a TV show in months. Like, since we moved into our new place, we haven't really, like, set up, like, a comfortable spot to, like, watch stuff, you know? So, it's just, like, it's mainly hanging out in the old PC and painting. It's been good, though, because since I stopped watching TV shows, I've literally painted an entire Warhammer Fantasy army. So, I've actually made some progress and stuff, which is good. Yeah, Empire vs. Greenskins is doable, I think. Empire, Knights of the Blazing Sun, Volkmar. You know, you can even go with the Steam Tank if you want to. There's a bunch of weird options. There's a bunch of weird options for sure. I would rather play Empire than Chaos into Greenskins for sure. That's what I would like to do. Been tuning into your Dawn of War 2 videos. Literally got me to start playing it. Yeah, it's a fun game. It's a fun game. I don't stream it too often because of the sound bug thing. It's like... And also, I don't know. I would rather just stream Age of Empires, honestly. Or Total War. If Evenstar kept his Vampire Count pick, this would have been a star duo to play them into. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Vampire Count's hard counter the Empire, and they're also really good against Chaos, so. Norska? I don't think Evenstar is going to pick Norska. There is no universe in which Evenstar picks Norska. Evenstar likes to play the top factions, unless it's like a really obvious counter pick. Yeah, I gotta get you some pictures of the Empire army. The only thing I haven't painted yet are the Demogryph Knights. They had already been. I painted them before, and I really hated the scheme I did for them. So I'm currently stripping the paint off the Demogryph Knights, and then I'm going to reprime them and paint them. I have 9 Demogryph Knights. I'm going to do 6 of them in the normal red and white colors, and then one of them is going to be the Royal Altorf Griffites, which is going to be a squad of 3, which will have the Griffite colors, which will be super rad. I'm super hyped for it. Super hyped for it for sure. Yeah, still no picks from Evenstar, man. He's taking a sweet time here. In the meantime, we can head over to the Tavern here. So let's just do this real quick. Boom. Boom. We take a look at the bracket for the day. So this is the tournament. It is the Return of Warhammer 2 tournament. And the finals, we have Hadries and Evenstar. You can see all the people who played. Many great legends of Warhammer 2 have returned to compete today, which is quite a bit of fun. And... this tournament, though, will not feed into the leaderboard. So basically anything that isn't like... Because it's kind of unfair if you have the leaderboard and it's like a bunch of different formats and games, right? So this one will not be feeding into the leaderboard since it's like a totally different game. But Season 1 is going to be ending soon. What I'm going to do is Season 1 of the Total Tavern League is going to be ending like probably the second week of August. Whenever Immortal Empires comes out, this season will end. And then we're going to kick off Immortal Empires with a massive 16-man grand final with the new, like all the new factions included. It's going to be super fun. It's going to be super fun. Also, we'll have more faction guides up. Right now, we have Umais, who have made an excellent Cathay guide. It's really, really solid if you guys haven't checked that out. But Cathay is the worst faction for sure. But we'll eventually have guides for like every faction. But it's kind of pointless to do right now since, you know, they're not in the game yet. And we don't know too much. So we'll have to see. All right. So let's see what Evenstar is going to be. Evenstar, make sure to type here. I'm just reminding Evenstar to make sure to type his pick here while they do their business. Is Falcon still around? Yeah, he's playing other games now. I think he's just taking a break until Immortal Empires comes back, I would imagine. Yeah, I don't use airbrushes, Melody. So I do everything by hand. And I wish I had learned an airbrush in the beginning because it saves so much time. It saves so much time. The problem with airbrushing is the way that you have to like press the trigger is actually hard for my hand because that motion kind of hurts my my damaged tendon, which is always fun. Yeah, Chaos is favored versus Dwarves, but it's not unwinnable. Like Dwarves can win that with good micro and good positioning, and also Gyrocopter Cheese is very strong in that matchup. Warhammer 2, the no chat DLC, that's what we're paying for right now, yeah. Absolutely. Dude, I hope to see a SIGMAR pick. Okay. Oh, yeah, baby. Guys, you're in for a treat. Ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be a Chaos pick for Evenstar. The Warriors of Chaos, and guess what? Hadries is going with the Empire. SIGMAR bless this ravaged matchup. This is like one of the most classic matchups. Hadries says he's going Empire to spare me the mirror. Oh, man, Hadries, you don't have to do that, dude. If you want to mirror, go for it. I don't mind. Play to win. So let me know. He says he's playing Empire, but he says he's doing it just to spare me the mirror match, but I don't want that. I want him to play his best. So if he thinks his best chance of winning is a Chaos mirror match, then I'd rather he do that. I do hate mirrors, but it's okay. It's okay. Jacob says, Professor Pone, when is the dynamic duo teaming up again for a co-op? I don't care what game. I'm just here for the camaraderie. We will soon. Yeah. And when Immortal Empires comes out, Pone and I will definitely do some like PvP campaigns and all that stuff too. Professor Pone says, your Dawi cheese in the Chinese tournament to beat the Chaos build was hilarious. Yeah. So I was able to defeat 2 of the top players in China using that. We literally went to game 5 and it was dwarves against Chaos both times. And like I feel like in the Chinese community, they weren't used to the gyrocopter cheese. So I just like cheesed out these wins against them. It was really funny. Yeah. That was some wild stuff. Sounds good. All right, Hadries wants to play Empire anyways. All right, so the Sons of Sigmar are here. This matchup is probably a little easier for Chaos, but if you're like a really practiced Empire player, I think you can win this one. But it's certainly not easy. Sorry, guys, I had to minimize a couple times. There we go. Good stuff there. Good stuff indeed. Luminarchs? No. Luminarchs would be silly. I don't know. In this matchup, there's a couple ways to play it. Like, you can go static with like a cannon. Like a defensive cannon handgunner build works pretty well, honestly. Folkmore the Grim to clear infantry. I'm more of a Franz man. I think Franz is the way to go against Chaos because he can smash all the Chaos characters. He can ambush Kolek, get big jumps on him with handgunner support. Like, you could even go Boris with like a light wizard. So Boris heals. You get a light wizard to net down big Chaos targets, focus with handgunners like silver bullets. Pistoliers will typically out skirmish. Outriders aren't bad here either. Like, Empire is such a dynamic roster that you can play like 3 or 4 good competitive matchups or builds here. Six Sweetness, here's a tip from the great camo work in that last game. Oh my god, it's Jurassic Park. Yeah. It was Jurassic Park, dude. That thing just went bananas and ate that Vampirus. No, Pistoliers are actually very good against Marauder Horsemen in my experience, I think. It's a relatively even trade. It just comes down to player micro. But the Pistoliers, they shoot faster with bullets, so they typically can't be dodged as easily as the Javelins can. So I think Pistoliers are slightly edging that out, and they're also, yeah, I just think they do the trick. Like, that's one way to play it. You can go full kite here as well. Like, the Empire can go with like Franz, a Life Wizard, like 4 Pistoliers, 2 Outriders, like some grenade launchers, like a steam tank. Dude, there's a ton of weird ways to play this. A ton of weird ways. Hellstorm's a little bit risky. Lobatomir, what did I miss your question? No, I didn't miss it. No, I just literally answered your question for like a minute there. The Pistoliers get shut down by Marauder Horsemen? No, definitely not. Definitely not. Yo, oh, you're saying you literally answered my question. Ignore it. Okay. I got you, man. I got you. So, Hadries with the schemes. Evenstar seems to have a lot of preset builds. He readies up very, very quickly here. He readies up very, very quickly. The Warhammer 2 music definitely brings me back, dude. I've been casting Warhammer 2 battles since it launched for 5 years almost, 4 or 5 years. It's just like, yeah. I feel like if I was old and had lost my mind a little bit, you could like play the Warhammer 2 soundtrack and it would like bring me back to a time, you know? Yeah. Classic matchup, yeah. Melody says, classic matchup. I can't wait to see Sigmar's sons get their bread buttered. How dare you? How could you root for the Warriors of Chaos against the brave Sons of Sigmar? The tournament that ended with 2 vampire count mirror matches is legendary. Oh my god, no. Dude, don't do that. Okay, War Wagons actually aren't terrible here either. Yeah, they can do okay against Chaos. Because War Wagons have longer range than Marauder Horsemen, so they can actually skirmish against them pretty well. And you can use them as Walmart chariots to like block Marauders and things like that. Yeah. So there's all kinds of cool ways to do it. Yeah, the Warhammer 2 soundtrack is definitely very, very good. I think it's better than Warhammer 3 soundtrack, but there's a couple things about Warhammer 3 soundtrack that are really good. Like the trailer music for the Kislev trailer with Katarine battling the Bloodthirster. That is so good. That is so good. 85 years in the future, yeah. Evenstar better have Kolek or a giant. I can guarantee you, Pone, he will not have a giant. One thing that Evenstar, I would say there's maybe like a 10% chance we see Kolek here. Maybe like 5%. Most likely going to be, God, who do you even bring against? I guess Sigvald is pretty common. Sigvald, you could see like a Chaos Sorcerer Lord. There's a bunch of other options. Yeah, we'll have to see. And bring me to my bed. It's time, guys. Which Warhammer 2 background? I like the Vampire Coast one a lot. The Vampire Coast background wallpaper is really good. All hail the mighty. They're arising from the deep. So good, dude. Vampire Coast soundtrack. The Ogre Kingdoms one is like rivals it, though. The Ogre Kingdoms trailer music was super good. Like, that was such an earworm. That was literally stuck in my head for like a week. I just couldn't escape. Old man turning in a bed saying, don't bring trash, it's a meme. Yeah. All right. So, this is actually... I'm glad he picked Empire, because this is the paint scheme of my Empire army, actually. The Knights look a little bit... Yeah, my Knights look more or less similar to this. Although I have a little bit more color on my Knights there. But yeah, the Halberd formation, like the red and white kind of like striped patterns, that's what my entire tabletop army is painted like. Oh my god, just yelling all mad. So, taking a look at the Empire army, it's going to be Volkmar the Grim, Amethyst Wizard with Spirit Leech, and a Netcaster as well on the Light Wizard. In the front line, we're going to be seeing two Valiant Sons of Sigmar, so two great swords backed up by Quad Handgunner. Oh, this build just has everything I love. It has the steel. You ready for the steel? You got the steel in the front. You got the faith up here. And then you have the gunpowder in the back, dude. It's the perfect Empire build. So Halberd's going to be defending in the secondary rows. Halberds actually can fight Chaos Warriors okay. They do have decent AP. 4 handgunners, more spears, more swordsmen, a little bit of control, and Empire Knights are just going to be serving as a roadblock. So it's basically just like a trooper build, right? Just basic state troopers looking to move up. And yes, it is a wild Chaos Dragon. So Evenstar coming in with a Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Death up on a dragon. Apparently he just cannot resist his vampire countways. And what does he got? Some horsemen. Yeah, basic Marauder horsemen for skirmishing. No surprises. Whole front line's going to be Forsaken Marauders, more Marauders in the back, and a couple Armored Chaos Trolls. Armored Chaos Trolls don't do bad. They can definitely beat down like Empire Knights, trade pretty well against Reiksguard. Knights of the Blazing Sun are a little bit scary for them, considering they do fire damage, but overall, the Trolls do work. The Trolls do work indeed. Now we riot. Yeah, no Hellblaster. No Hellblaster volley gun. It's not here. This Empire build is just going to march you down. What you want to do if you're playing Empire here, though, is get your army like at an angle. So you like move up this way and like make sure the Chaos Army can't envelop you. That's where it's going to be a little bit tricky. Yeah, oh yeah, Empire's great, man. That's what I'm going to be maining. When they get added to Warhammer 3, I'm going to do like streams just playing the Empire in domination mode and trying to master them. Yeah, the Chaos Dragon is cool. It is cool, but Volkmar the Grim is here. And if Evenstar screws up for like 1 second with this Chaos Dragon, he's going to get netted, he's going to get Spirit Leeched, and he's going to get blasted by like 3 or 4 handgunners. So you really, really, really have to be careful. You really, really have to be careful with this Chaos Sorcerer Lord. But that is it. The battle is on. The Sons of Sigmar will be advancing out. Like, neither of them have artillery, so both players kind of have to move up and engage here. So the Empire army will be pushing up, albeit very slowly, and they're going to do exactly what we talked about. They're going to get that nice little angle to block off like a large portion of that Chaos Force. Papa Palpatine says, I honestly can't see Chaos winning here. I would agree that Empire is massively advantaged based on the builds I'm seeing. I think the Empire build is exponentially better, but Evenstar is still a really good player. You know, he's Warhammer 2 World Champion. He's got very good control usually, and there's still always the chance that, you know, the dragon comes in, it gets breath attacks on the great swords. The dragon, you know, can goon some stuff. The handgunners get shut down, potentially by Marauder horsemen diving into the back line. You know, hounds as well. The Empire is a very kind of glass cannon type faction, right? They're very, very much like, oh, is this going to be an overcasted Spirit Leech from downtown? It is. Look at that. So Spirit Leeching the Chaos Sorcerer from downtown. Volkmar the Grim moving up a little bit, and it looks like the Empire just kind of gathering its position to defend itself. So we do get the handgunners moving out with spears to support. You really have to be careful. This map does have a lot of issues with guns, because if you look, there's all these little like sand dunes, so sometimes guns can have some massive, massive line of sight issues here. So in the meantime, Evenstar just going to be posturing here with the Chaos Warriors, and both armies just moving up very, very slowly, which is very standard here. So Volkmar the Grim. I have him in tabletop too. I have a painted Volkmar, although he's not on the wagon. My Volkmar is currently on the. He's on foot. He's rolling dirty with the great swords in my tabletop army there. But we do see the envelopment from the Warriors of Chaos as we do get the Marauder Horsemen looking to poke some of the halberds. Handgunners gonna put some serious hurt on these guys. Yeah, nice. Handgunners shooting into the Marauders there, so doing some good damage. Losing about 3 models, and the other handgunner unit going to be extending up onto the hill, and that's what we have to be careful about. This is the hill problem, because the Marauder Horsemen can like throw from over the hill, and the handgunners can't quite do too much about that. But now they're going to be forming ranks. Reform ranks! The Sons of Sigmar unleashing the fury of Nuln here into the back of these barbarians, and they're going to be sent back to the frozen north. That is for sure. So look at that. One volley brings those guys down to half health. We do see a Spirit Leech coming down on the Empire Knights. Very strange choice in my opinion. Like, the Empire Knights are just like a roadblock unit. I don't know if it's worth it to, like, Spirit Leech them. And apologies for the lag. It is what it is. We have a player connecting from the United States and then Eastern Europe here as well. So there's going to be a little bit between all 3 of our connections. I think Hadri's is East Coast. I'm West Coast. And I think Evenstar is somewhere in Eastern Europe there. So Marauder Horsemen chasing down the Empire Knights. A couple spears hammering into these bad boys. The Light Wizard's getting a little bit danger close to them for sure. So Chaos is just going to envelop the Empire Army while the Empire Army kind of defends itself against some of the skirmishing. And handgunners, this is a good idea from Hadri's. I think getting the handgunners up on the hills and kind of repositioning yourself is going to be very nice. The disciplined ranks of the Empire. This definitely feels very much like an actual like lore battle. Like an Empire crusade from Volkmar gets caught in the wastelands by a Chaos Horde. Very, very flavorful for sure. But really nice play from the Marauders as well. The Marauder Horsemasters have been getting good poke. The handgunners are returning the favor on many occasions, but overall, Evenstar has gotten some decent trades. Pulling back, and the Infantry Corps will be here very, very soon. Forsaken coming here. Evenstar has kind of forgot about a couple units again, so he does have a couple Marauder Horsemen over there on the far side. Handgunners shooting downtown. Beautiful shots into the Forsaken. Looks like they are retreating after losing about 3 models. So far, great value from the handgunners, but this is where it gets scary for the Empire. When a massive Chaos Horde, who typically has better quality infantry than you, does advance, it's going to be very, very messy. A little bit of a diving opportunity here. Hadri's is just trying to position himself, you know, trying to get good angles. Man, Evenstar has got to get these horsemen up. He can't be forgetting about units like this, especially not against like such a tightly packed, like really efficient Empire force like this. Forsaken moving in, but they're going to get done super dirty. And that Chaos Sorcerer, like, that's the crappy thing about investing in a fat dragon, right? The fat dragon is just such a net target. And it's just like, he's going to just bing on the wings, right? Evenstar getting a little bit of horseman engagements. We see the Forsaken crashing on the other side. So they're going to be moving in here. The swordsmen form ranks. Swordsmen will get massacred by Forsaken. What I would like to see is the great swords form ranks and come over here and help as well. But some nice powder fire. Marauder Horsemen in the back looking to find their way in. And handgunners, steel, faith, and gunpowder. Will it endure? Line of sight, a big issue on this map. Really, really big issue. Probably, honestly, just having the pistoliers, or excuse me, the handgunners shooting the cav and the mobility is going to be better. We do get a cav charge, actually. So we get the Marauder Horsemen charging in. Spearman braced, going to be taking a charge from the heretics here. Uh-oh, breath attack on the great swords. Hadri's, no! Oh, that's such a nice one from Evenstar. Ouch. And the dragon breath attack doing the work of the gods, but net going down on the big dragon. Spirit Leech going down. Handgunners, 2 handgunner units going to be blasting here. That is going to be a huge amount of damage right there. Hounds do get into the back line, though. So Hadri's is compromised in many regards in his formation, but the big dragon is getting pounded really, really badly and could potentially just be out of the picture here, which... Here's the problem, guys. With the dragon being dead or gone, there's really no answer that Evenstar has for Volkmar. Volkmar will just absolutely just handle most of these formations of infantry. I guess the Chaos Trolls are kind of an answer, but Evenstar's Lord is at 367 HP, and the Sigmarites are being heavily pushed, but they do have halberds on top of the Trolls. Volkmar the Chad, his mustache rubbing all over the faces here of these Chaos Warriors, just giving buffs to these State Troopers. Great Swords, of course, pretty terrible against Trolls, but, you know, still can put a little bit of hurt on these Marauders here. And the dragon is running for the hills. Now, as far as the bounce of power goes, it's a little bit favored here for Hadri's. A huge banishment going to be coming down. Beautiful one, going to be tearing through those Forsaken, escorting a couple of them back to the waste from whence they came. Nice flank there, though, from Evensar. And this is the problem with the Chaos Dragon Lord. It's like, the battle's actually really close, because Evensar is trading well in many areas, but the fact that he lost his Lord is going to give the Sigmarites a massive, massive chance. The Dragon Lord against Empire is just way, way too risky. He did one breath attack and died. Every dragon plays the same. Yeah, some factions can pull off dragons better. Like, dragons are feasibly stronger against factions that don't have ice nets and missiles. But like when you're against the Empire, they're often going to have nets and missiles. It's very, very risky. Something similar could have happened with like Pistoliers or Outriders, but now I think we're in a situation where we just see Chadmar the Grim carry, because Evensar compromised the gun lines pretty damn well, actually. Like, he got into the backfield, he swarmed effectively, but just losing your Lord like that's going to be a big throw. Oh, look at this. This is a cool shot. State Troopers, as well as the Light Wizard, banishing the darkness, trying to hold back the Forsaken, but Forsaken will certainly tear apart Spearmen pretty effectively. You can see State Troopers, some of them trying the Anderson Silva straight kick there, taught to them by Steven Seagal, I'm sure. And a big charge coming in from the Marauder Horsemen. But Sigmar blesses this ravaged army, guys. Great Sword's still very healthy. Chaos Trolls and the Dragon are really the only answers for them. And the Chaos Trolls, I think, are a little bit tied up in halberds, although no, some of the Chaos Trolls are actually getting decent fights here. We see the big punts, karate kicks of doom coming in from the big Chaos Troll. Chadmar the Grim rolling into the backfield, roaring in defiance at the hordes of chaos as he summons the magic of Sigmar, the grand banishment. Oh, this game is just so heartwarming, guys. It's so heartwarming seeing the foul heretics be banished. I'm just such an Empire fan. And it just brings me so much joy to see them winning a game in a grand finals of a tournament against a really, really good player, too. Nice isolation here, though. Good play by Evensar. He finds the Light Wizard, but the Light Wizard's already done its justice. And I think you could take the entire army here. You could take the entire Chaos army that still exists on the battlefield, remove all the Imperial forces, and they could not kill Volkmar. Volkmar would probably tear out the Trolls off, and they would just shatter eventually. And the Chaos Infantry can barely scratch the paint on his pimp wagon as he continues to roll dirty through their formations. And it looks like that will probably be it. Evensar's about to get army lost, and Hadri's is going to be going up with a 2-0 victory here in ye old grand finals. Certainly very, very impressive for sure. They're going to fear the bite of Volkmar's horses, that's right. Evensar's dropped out of the game, and Sigmar's sons have claimed victory. And really, a very simplistic answer as to the nature of that game. His Lord got netted, sniped. It was not only was it a super expensive dragon character, but it was also his caster. He lost all of that, and that's going to be that. No, it's best of 5, so there's more games to come. Well played to both players, but yeah, the Dragon Lord is just too haggard, man. And Volkmar is just too much of a Chad. And the guns got compromised super quick. Evensar did a really good job with that, but the Dragon Lord was just too janky, man. It was too janky. So, Hadri's goes up 2-0 in the grand finals. And we will now jump across. For the Emperor, Evensar looks like he's going to be resetting. Is he resetting or something? Let's see. Let's go ahead and message him real quick. Okay. He did leave the lobby. So maybe Evensar is done for the day. Maybe getting the Steel Faith and Gunpowder to the face has been one too many blows for him. But regardless, it has been a very, very fun stream. I want to thank you all for joining. It's been good. Come on, Evensar. Don't give up. You got to finish the series, dude. Don't you do it. Yeah, I see him typing a message. He doesn't type very often. He's a very quiet guy. So when he types a message, come on, Evensar. You better get back in this lobby. I mean, it would be fine to give it to Hadri's with the 2-0, but I'd rather not. I'd rather get more games in here. Dude, Empire versus Khorne. I actually think that's going to be Khorne favored because, like, Khornate infantry are just so hard to kill. And you know what Empire struggles with is dealing with mass armor. It's actually very tough, especially shielded Khorne warriors. Yeah. So even we have Clownhead rejoining. Oh no, did my game crash too? Classic Warhammer 2, just Warhammer 2 things. Okay, I will remake lobby. Okay, so my lobby crashed there. So one sec, so let me go ahead and switch this over. And let's do that. Just Warhammer 2 things. Hashtag remaking lobby. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have to force quit this bad boy. Lovely. Always a good time. Come on, Warhammer 2. Whoa, now I'm getting a black screen of doom. Okay, let's move Warhammer 2 over to another screen. And let us go ahead and banish it to the shadows. All right, so they're doing their picks and bans right now. He's here, he's here. Even starts playing. He just had a crash at the end, so did I too, so that makes sense. What about vampire counts versus Khorne? I feel like Khorne is going to be good against everyone. Khorne is just such a strong faction. Like, their infantry are so good, and God knows what they're going to be getting in the future too. Okay, so firing up the game. The map is going to be the Bone Zone. We're on the Bone Zone. Hell yeah, dude. Take me to the Bone Zone. I feel like Bone Zone should be the name of like an 80s like hair metal song or something. Warhammer 2 has a lot of issues with when you minimize it. It often crashes. So that's, I feel, what probably happened there. Because I always minimize to update the UI and stuff. All right, let's get you back. Okay, hosting game as spectator. All right, so I got the lobby up. It's going to be Pillar of Bone. Welcome to the Bone Zone, baby. And I will pull up the picks and bans in the meantime. Looking good. And let's head on over there and see what they are up to. So Evenstar is going to go Greenskins and Dark Elves here. Okay, so Greenskins and Dark Elves are his 2 picks. And now we have to kind of see what Hadries wants to do. Hadries, of course, is up 2-0 here, so updating the score. If he wins this, he wins the tournament. But he has a little bit of cushion. Think Grenade Cav will be good versus Khorne? So Empire Knights won't kill Khorne Dogs very well, unfortunately. Because Jade Lancers don't kill them, and Empire Knights are basically the same thing. So I think maybe you go slightly more elite. You go like Knights of the Blazing Sun. And because they actually have a lot of damage, so they could probably kill Khorne Dogs pretty effectively. I think Khorne Dogs need a cost increase. I think Khorne Dogs should get like a 50 to 100 gold cost increase. They're just a little bit too strong. They're a little bit too strong. Dzień dobry, jak się masz, Filthorius? Hope you're doing bardzo dobrze, my friend. So the Bone Zone is the map. Have the players rejoined? They have? Cool. So they're both in there. Good, good. And looking great. So now we just wait for the picks and bans, and we're all good. Yeah, we haven't had Wood Elves today, but we've had a pretty good range of factions, honestly. We had Empire. We've had... So let me look at this. We had Dark Elves. We had Empire, Greenskins, Lizardmen, Skaven, Vampire Coast, Vampire Counts, Warriors of Chaos. That's a pretty good range of factions. Like what, 7 or 8, 9 factions of the 15? Pretty good, considering, it's a pool of only 4 players that we're casting. So that is not bad at all. How could Slaanesh deal with Imperial Flagellants? So Mateusz, I'm of the opinion that Flagellants will get massacred by Slaanesh because they have like no defense. So like Marauders with Hell Scourges will trade super cost effectively into Flagellants. Like even basic Marauders of Slaanesh with their bonus versus infantry will wreck them 100%. But Flagellants will hold their ground, and that's their job, I guess. But like Empire will be very good against Slaanesh using Pistoliers. Pistoliers are going to be good against most of the Slaaneshi roster. Grenade launchers too. So just waiting on the pick from Hadries. The Bone Zone is the map. So welcome to the Bone Zone. So we wait for the picks and bans from the lads. Yeah, there's tons of great options. Like, dude, I'm so excited to see what the meta looks like. I'm so excited. That's going to be so much fun, man. Whenever I play this game, whenever I play Warhammer 2 or 3, I just always have the urge to start a new tabletop army. And it sucks because, like, with my hand problems, I can only do so much. So I have to, like, sit and just, like wish I could just be doing it. That's horrible. Alberic? Okay, Bretonia here? Yeah, Bretonia, I don't know if I would do that. Hadries, Dwarves, I would not pick against either of these. Although on Bone Zone, maybe, but Dwarves are just such a risky pick. Who will enjoy punishment more, Flagellants or Slaanesh? Probably Flagellants, honestly. Because Slaaneshi Marauders will break and run. They are not unbreakable. The Sigmarite Fanatics are, on the other hand. So they probably will enjoy it more. Okay, Beastmen. So we're going to get a Beastmen pick from Hadries. And a response is going to be Dark Elves. So Dark Elves versus Beastmen here. Interesting. Usually this used to be very Beastmen favored, but I don't know what these players have up their sleeve. I have no idea. I have no idea indeed. Loopy says the meta will be Warhammer 2 because everyone will stop playing Warhammer 3 factions. I strongly disagree. I strongly disagree. I still think Khorne is going to be played heavily. I think Nurgle will be played heavily. Nobody's going to play Cathay unless they're just like a diehard Cathay fan. And because yeah, we also don't know what's coming with like future packs, right? Like we have no idea. So I think Khorne will always be played. Cultists are just too good in their infantry, and Nurgle's good at what it is good at. Kislev probably won't be played very much, I don't think. I don't think that Kislev or Cathay will be played much, but I think all 4 of the demon factions will be played very heavily. Yeah. Matthew says cringe, I sleep. Hey, get some rest, Matthew. So it's going to be Beastmen versus Dark Elves here. On the Bone Zone, nonetheless, which is even better for the Beastmen, I think. Yeah, so it's on. Low-tier time, boys. I don't know. I don't know. Dude, I am of the opinion that Warhammer 3 factions will be fine. Yeah, I think Ogre Kingdoms probably won't, like, all the demon factions will still see a ton of play because they're really good at domination mode. Really, really good. No, I'm not even going to play Cathay anymore because I'll have my Empire back. I am going to main Empire. I'm going to main probably Nurgle. And I want to really get good at Vampire Coast on domination. I feel like they're going to be like like weak, but like we'll have some weird niche applications. But Empire and Nurgle will be my like 2 mains. That's what I play in tabletop. I have a Nurgle 40k army and a Fantasy Empire army. So just gotta stay true to my roots. All right, so Even Star's ready on the Druchii, and what will Hadries bring? Probably just double Manticore or like Bull Rush, right? Just get in there, go ham, pressure super hard. We'll see. Hadries, we need Khazrak. No, you know, I'd rather see Hadries try hard because I want to see solid duels here. Dread Saurian viable anywhere. I am the Cathay fan, by the way. So Dark Age Rush. Did you go back? Were you here in the stream, Dark Age Rush? Answer me this in chat. Did you see the Vampire Counts versus Lizardman game we had in game 1 between Hadries and Evenstar? Because if you did not, go back, and that will single-handedly answer your question. The Dread Saurian was an absolute raid boss. And yes, I do think the Dread Saurian might be okay in domination mode at, like, gooning, like, thing. It's just gooning big targets, right? Like, it's a terror, you know? So I actually made a video that is being edited right now, which is how will Cathay fare into the old world? So I go through every single matchup, and I explain if Cathay will be decent against them. And I don't think Cathay players will be happy. But, you know, how can you turn your back on all that sky junk? I know. The Empire is just so much cooler than Cathay, in my opinion. I don't know. I just really like Demogryph Knights and, like, Knightly Orders. And, like, Karl Franz is, like, the coolest dude ever. Volkmar is just so badass. You know, I don't know. Yeah, that match was crazy good. Dark Age Rush, yeah, go check that out. The Dread Saurian gets used in that game. And it is not just the Dread Saurian. It is the Shredder of Lustria. Yeah, it was insane, dude. I think it gets like 4,000 value or something. It's nuts. The only vampires you acknowledge are the Twilight vampires with their sparkling glory. Yeah, pretty magical. Yeah, Cathay could be a lot better when formation attack gets fixed. I don't know, though. They still just don't have the killing power to get on objectives. Yeah, poor guys. They tried their best. All right, the duels. Oh! Can we see a Gorgon here? Probably not. Too vulnerable to repeater crossbows. Cathay is a bad empire. Cathay is like a bad... If the Empire and the Dwarves had a child that they really did... They weren't, you know... it would be Cathay, and it's like a child that they didn't, you know... They didn't raise properly. It would be Cathay. Is how I like to kind of, you know... go about it. The HQs for Cathay are cooler. Yeah, I mean, understandably, some people are going to like Cathay better. I like the grounded aesthetic in fantasy quite a bit, so that's why I like Empire. But yeah, Cathay does have dragons, which are super cool, and Terracotta Sentinels and stuff. Yeah, which is awesome. Now, that is quite an army. It is Torox the Brass Chungus. So Torox is here. And remember, guys, in Warhammer 2, you cannot land your flying units, so they're just stuck up in the sky, which is pretty hilarious, without attacking something. Torox, double Manticore, Centaurs with throwing axes, basic Centaurs, Gores, and a Bray Shaman of Death. So Gores, pretty good. They will trade very cost effectively with most Dark Elf infantry. Even some of the more elite ones they trade okay with. Centaurs with throwing axes, very good against Dark Elf Cav, good against Scourge Runners, can focus Manticores and SEMs. And also the basic Centaurs will pretty much outmuscle any Dark Elf skirmishers. They will lose to Cold One Knights, but anything below that, they usually trade very cost effectively with. So I like the Beastmen army. It's very simplistic. A lot of it's going to come down to the gooning and, the Manticore duels and all that. So it's going to be Marathi here for Evenstar, backed up by double Feral Manticore. The main battle line for Evenstar is going to be Bleak Swords and Dread Spears and some Witch Elves hiding in the bushes. Oh, and the Raven's Herald. Okay. So Fast Winston says, so Cathay is Wimp Low from the Way of the Fist? Yes. The Empire and the Dwarves look at Cathay and they're like, we trained them wrong as a joke. That's basically them, dude. Yeah, Cathay is pretty boring in the campaign, to be honest, yeah. The Empire campaign is so much cooler. You march to Sylvania. You're, liberating these fallen, Elector counts from the foul vampires. Then after you fight the vampires, you're like, oh, man, that was rough. And then suddenly, a huge erect wall comes from the south. And you're, fighting at the Blackfire Pass to, hold the orcs back from the Empire. All the while, the Chaos Invasion is brewing in the north. Nothing, in my opinion, nothing beats the Empire campaign. It's just so thematic and so good. Now, though the Dark Elves are taking up refuge in the trees a little bit, that's not going to help them at all. The Beastmen are probably happy about this because it'll give them some cover in some ways. So we'll see how it plays out. Evenstar potentially going to get massively surrounded here. There's a lot of Beastmen skirmishers hiding all over the place. And that's that. Yeah, counts are obviously very dependent on their healing. I agree with you. The Raven's Heralds are pretty cool. The Raven's Heralds are very cool, and they can certainly snipe a Torox character or something, just kind of sit over his head and do their thing. Looks like one of the players is readied up, and Evenstar just had a very defensive blob here. Will the Beastmen have enough to deal with the Dark Elf infantry? That's the question. Goreherds will definitely do well, but as long as they're not being run over by chariots. Goreherds will decisively defeat some of these other units. Looks like Evenstar decides to change up his formation a little bit. Got to be deploying in the open field. I think Hadri's kind of expected him to deploy here, so he's just going to be kind of switching over to the open field here. And Raven's Herald's on the far side, probably looking to see if there's any Beastmen Vanguard right there, I would imagine. That's probably why he's deploying like so. And the battle's on, so Hadri's going to get his normal engagement. He'll just be moving across. Beastmen are super fast, so it doesn't really matter too much that they have to hustle over here. Dark Elves don't really have any way of massively punishing them on the approach. I mean, yeah, Scourge Runner poke is annoying, but it's only going to kill a couple Centaurs, really. Hadri's is already behind him, too. He's back here. We do have the Chaos Warhounds with poison, and they're going to be eyeballing these units. Dude, I'm so excited to actually play campaign as well once we get the Immortal Empires back. I'm so excited. Especially head-to-heads and things like that. A little bit of damage on the Goreherds. And, that actually could be a variable. If the Goreherds get a little bit too beat up, the Dark Elf Spears might be able to just win the day with the Witch Elves. Because Centaurs will do okay against Bleak Swords and Witch Elves, but they're not going to trade super well into Dread Spears. So that's a little bit of a tricky one as well. But the Beastmen Bray Herd is in position. Hadri's really needs to get some cav over here to try and protect the Gores. And it looks like these Centaurs with throwing axes do end up getting over there. So Hadri's just posturing, getting a nice surround. Going to be coming all the way around here. Could flank this way too if he wants to, but looks like he's going to be taking a head-on charge here. As the Centaurs with throwing axes getting poked a little bit. Manticores getting ready to duel. Certainly a little bit advantageous here for the Dark Elves in that department because they have Marathi up in the sky as well. But ooh, this is dangerous. Like a Spirit Leech on Marathi plus a Manticore beatdown. Looks like she might take some damage. Now she for the most part gets away. Now the Goreherds engaging in the front. We have Centaurs crashing down from the hills and a Soul Stealer coming down. Really nice Soul Stealer. That's going to hit both Manticores. And yeah, this is the problem with the double Manticore here, right? If they get lured to the ground somehow and the Witch Elves just rampage them, we'll have to see. The Beastmen are going to have to make up ground elsewhere. So Gore's engaging all over the place. Hadri's does have a couple idle units in the back. He's got some Centaurs back here. But overall, the Marathi Air Force is definitely going to win it. And that's one thing about Warhammer 3 that, compared to Warhammer 2 is there's a little bit less build roulette. This is very much a situation where the Manticores getting dominated is just such a brutal start for Hadri's. But, if he's able to just steamroll the ground engagements, you never know. So here, Torox Brass Bull just going ham. Nice Soul Blight. Goreherds tearing through these Bleak Swords. And looks like there's going to be what appears to be... What spell is that? Oh, that's right. That's the Dragon Egg from the Canate Assassin. Torox popping the Brass Body. Certainly needs to, but now very, very heavily outmatched. Marathi, Manticore, and a Canate Assassin. 3 very powerful SEMs, but not before those Witch Elves get completely crumped. Hadri's does have a lot of idle units back here. Like, a lot of stuff kind of sitting, not really doing a whole lot. These Centaurs could be over here trying to intercept these chariots and causing a lot of disruption, but overall, yeah, pretty colossal misplay. I mean, a lot of his army is just kind of sitting there and not doing a whole lot. Granted, Marathi does kind of get her butt kicked right there a little bit. Yeah, she gets kind of beaten down, man. Torok the Brass Bull is just such a good character. Very, very strong. But now Hadri's going to be crashing in with his mobility from the other side. Bounce power is still kind of decent, but Beastmen always have a good bounce of power. It's kind of a little bit of a weird thing with them, but Bleak Sword's coming across. The Manticore is back in business here for Hadri, so one of the Manticores did live, but the Brass Bull does get broken, actually terrified. So the Brass Bull should be immune to psychology or not be able to be terror-outed. Come on, look at that thing, Jesus. It's like a giant murder machine. And it gets broken, but Dark Elves do pull the bounce of power advantage, as it seems that their formation and the Manticore gooning really was the big deciding factor, right? We saw the Manticore duel going to Evenstar, which is just so massive. That's 1,600 gold. And in terms of positional play, it's just a massive, massive lead for him, right? Torok's still trying to goon these Manticores, and he's doing a pretty good job. I mean, Manticores do lack armor piercing, so maybe, just maybe, Torok's will be able to kind of pull out some witchcraft here. I've seen stranger things happen, but yeah, the Brave Shaman of Death being chased off the battlefield here by Marathi, so that thing is going to be Shadow Realms. If somehow the Beastmen could maybe get these Manticores down here with a big, like, Centaur surround, maybe, just maybe, Torok's could raid boss it. But the Raven's Herald's actually doing quite a bit of damage. You can see they're just sitting up here in the sky with their repeater crossbows, shooting into Torok's the Brass Bull. And yeah, he just got, oh my god, that was so much damage, man. So much damage right there. So Dark Elves pulling out the W, man, in a matchup in which I think they usually, historically, have struggled a little bit, but clearly Evenstar had a very well thought out build and is going to be claiming victory there. Too many cav for the Beastmen, perhaps. Maybe a little bit too overloaded on the Centaurs. And the Manticores, I don't think, paid for themselves super well. They just got annihilated by the Dark Elves pretty well. And Hadri's will be withdrawing. And guys, we have a series on our hands. It is now 2-1. Both players certainly top tier. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes forward. That was very much a build loss, in my opinion. A little bit of a misplay with the cav, but in many ways it came down to the two Manticores. Just kind of getting gooned there. So that was really it. Marathi plus two Manticores will always beat the two Manticores. And GG, well played. Nice game by Evenstar. It is 2-1. And let us go ahead and see what the players will be doing for the picks and bans. Very cool. Very cool indeed. Classic Total War Warhammer 2. 20 minutes picking factions, 3-minute battle. That's right, man. That's how we roll. That's Warhammer competitive in a nutshell. All right, so 2-1. Now it is time for the picks and bans. GG. I'm curious what they're going to do. Best of 5 really does stretch your faction pool. Maybe that was kind of the throwaway one. A comeback is very possible. I mean, both of these players are very good, so either of them could for sure come back. I'll never forget that sub 3-minute mark game where the Beastmen just ran over the Dark Elves. That does happen quite a bit. Usually Beastmen can run over Dark Elves pretty well. Not always. Like, really proficient players like Evenstar can, of course, endure it. I lasted longer in bed than these matches. That's Warhammer 2, man. Warhammer 2 matches are very quick. I think that's partially why some people like them. So from a viewer perspective, it's like very fast action. There's also been a discussion about what's it called? Warhammer 3 in domination mode for removing the timer for capture points and just having them open up right away so the battle happens. Coast incoming? It could. It could. I actually need to check the maps real quick. Hold on. Yeah, we basically know how this game went down here. So the map for the next one is going to be, scrolling up, I have it here somewhere, Pillarbone, Altdorf Outskirts. So another classic. Altdorf, then Mosquito Squad. Okay, so Altdorf Outskirts is the map. So letting the players know so they can do their picks and bans. And we're all good. So I'll jump over as soon as they do their picks and bans. The Lotus Moon says people whine when land battles go past 10 minutes. Yeah, it depends on the nature of the land battles, though, Lotus. A lot of it is if you're being like dragged around the map by like a million skirmish cav, people will complain. But if it's like a melee grind or a really close, just kind of more standardized battle, then I don't think people will complain. It's more just being dragged around by like mass missile cav and people barely obeying the attacking rules with SEMs. That's when it becomes bad. But so far today, we've been pretty blessed to not have any of that nonsense. I think Nurgle has some faster units though. Nurgle has Forsaken and Toads. I mean, they can get to the objectives quick enough. I think removing the timer would be fine potentially. Yeah, it's hard to say. Hard to say. Almost like it takes time to make your build because you actually have more than one build. Yeah, it's true to an extent. But I mean, you have to remember the rosters in Warhammer 3 are super limited, like very limited compared to Warhammer 2. So obviously there's going to be more build diversity. I don't think that's a domination thing. I think that's just like a roster thing. Okay. I'm not seeing the picks and bans yet. So we will continue hanging out until we do. So as far as upcoming events go, this weekend, no stream on Saturday. We'll have some videos going up, and then Sunday, I think we might do some sort of an FFA event in Age of Empires. I'm not 100% sure. Depends. I'm going to a beer and wine festival on Saturday, so it depends on how I feel on Sunday morning, because I certainly can't hang like I used to. And then the following week, we'll do another domination tournament. We'll do another land battle tournament, just like this in Warhammer 2. I think it's very fun to kind of have the classic throwback there. The comeback mechanic is for sure going to go. I think Creative Assembly is going to get rid of it. I'm like 90% sure. A lot of us have been complaining about it because it's just stupid. And I actually have a 15-minute rant video about how much I hate the comeback mechanic, which I've been like hesitant to post because I already complained about it so much. I'm like, why do I need to put up a standalone video for it? But any advice for Korn against Tzeentch? Yeah, I mean, just corn dogs, furies, and just mass amounts of armored infantry. Really can do the trick. Just get a cheap lord typically. Tzeentch loves to snipe, so if you just have a cheap, shitty lord, it doesn't really matter too much. And yeah, they can do the job, man. They can do the job. Carnage Records, I don't know who that is. I do not know who that is. Ah, Hadries is going to be going the Elven direction for this game. So we go to the picks and bans. Hadries is going to go Dark Elves, which is one of his old mains, and the Hard Wood. So now it is up to Evenstar to pick here. So Evenstar has to pick his faction that he's going to be playing here. And we will see. We will see. If it goes to game 5, pick and ban system is a little bit different. So we'll be switching over to another template, but we will see. Evenstar's got to scrap his way back, man. Hadries has got 2 chances here to try and close out the series before Evenstar can clinch it with the W and come back. Some delicious water there, man. After that power sneeze I had earlier, I'm feeling a lot better, man. Feeling a lot better. Does Turin have a top 3 battles? Do you mean like the top 3 battles we've had on the channel of all time? Because there's way too many to go through. Post a video that way. Every time the comeback mechanic comes up, you can just say, just watch my video. Yeah. Rant videos are always funny. Yeah, I feel like it was a little salty. Maybe I'll post it still, though. You guys already know how I feel, so it feels kind of like redundant. You know? Just feels redundant, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Marathi Air Force is brutal. Yeah, it's really hard to beat. I think Beastmen just playing the ground more would have been stronger, but how can you know? That's the thing in Warhammer 2. You don't get reinforcements, so it's kind of like you can lose a lot of the games on the army building screen. Like in Warhammer 2, sometimes you lose when you press the start button with an army. That's when you've lost in Warhammer 2 more often. Not more often than not, but many times that can happen. And that was kind of one of those games. Hadri certainly had a tough one there. If Evenstar went Beastmen, I would probably see a Wood Elf pick. Or, you know, I mean, Hadri's could do Dark Elves and try something very similar. That's true, Lich109. That's very true. Yeah, Evenstar still trying to decide what he wants to play. And no dwarves from him, that's for sure. What else could we see from Evenstar? Vampire Coast? Probably not. Wood Elves are really good against Vampire Coast, in my experience. They just spam the Deepwood Scouts, the dreaded Aerocrastic Swift Shiver Shards, and become very playable. Lots of fun options. Who knows, man? Lotus Moon, anticipating it's going to be a Beastmen pick here. Okay. I like that. I think Beastmen are pretty good against both these factions. Beastmen Wood Elves is a fun one. It's very fast and furious. I feel like that matchup can be decent for either player. Professor Pone says, I would say that the guy who played Imric and managed to beat the dreaded Grom the Paunch is like the number 1 or 2 on your channel. That was a pretty legendary one. So Professor Pone represented Imric in the Legendary Lords tournament, and he actually defeated Grom the Paunch, who at the time was like a tyrannical favorite, just like crushing everyone. Not the player who played Grom the Paunch, who was very good, mind you, but in general, Grom was like very dominant in the meta. Tomb Kings? No, I don't think so. I feel like Evenstar is going to play more meta factions. I don't think he's going to play anything like Empire or anything like Tomb Kings. It's always going to be more meta stuff with him, typically. There are some players who like to meme and get a little bit wild, and he is not one of them. I don't think I've ever seen Evenstar meme, ever. And I've casted a lot of his games. Greenskins? Yeah, Greenskins could be good here, actually. Oh yeah, Greenskins. Has he even started played Greenskins yet in the series? Did even start play Greenskins? Because if not, that seems like a pretty good pick. For sure. Yeah, we'll have to find out. Hadri's with the elf picks. Wood Elves are very strong. Wood Elves are a very, very good faction. After the latest update they got at the end of Warhammer 2, they became a big power player. Orion was just an absolute raid boss for a long time before he got kind of karate chopped a little bit. He was like broken though. He was broken. Oh yeah, Evan Sherman for sure. I completely get you. Empire's not a meta pick, but I think Empire will have its day in domination mode. I think they'll be really fun because Empire has some good Vanguard options. You have Pistoliers, you have grenade launchers, and you also Free Company Militia have Vanguard deployment, I think, don't they? So you could like Vanguard all those and get up on objectives pretty quick, and like you could Vanguard like 2 Free Company with like a grenade launcher, like grenade launch their infantry off the objective and then shoot them and fight them with Free Company to get the point. I think that there's some good times for that. I think there's some good times. Yep, Beastmen. Lotus Moon called it. All right, so it is going to be the Bray Herd. What will Hadri's pick? Will Hadri's respond with the Dark Elves? Just kind of play what we just saw? Or is he going to go with the Wood Elves? I would wager Wood Elves. Like, I feel like Wood Elves historically have had better matchups versus Beastmen. I don't know, though. Oh, God, the Slanesh bots. Who's going to be the first one? Damn, Professor Pone's so quick on the draw there. Slaying that bad boy in no time. What's one thing you want CA to change for Norska? Norska needs a lot more than just one thing, Carmine. They need to just be reworked. Norska needs like a whole makeover, I think. Like give them some new units, some new abilities, new characters. Norska needs some milk for sure. They need some calcium in their bones. Norska? Dude, don't get your hopes up for Norska in the grand finals of a competitive tournament. Yeah. Chaos Factions are very fun. Melody says I was bested. You get the Sardaukar? Are you talking about just give them the Dune units, which are like 10,000 years in the future? I feel like some fantasy units could probably defeat the Sardaukar because like a big monstrous Minotaur could probably just run them over, right? Especially if they're using their like force blade things they have. All right, Hadri's. We're waiting to see. What will it be? Oh, I see Hadri's typing. The big schemes. The big schemes from the man. Man, much cooler day today. I'm not sweating. Past couple days have been like literally 90 degrees. It's been brutal. Today it's like a nice solid 75 outside. Very pleasant. Norska needs Vikings. I think they basically already have that. Yeah, Norska needs, like, I bet you Norska will get their makeover soon. Because they're just so neglected. Like, so neglected. The last time Norska got, like, anything was, like, oh my god, I was living in Poland when Norska came out. In, like, 17 or 16 or 17? Jeez. And they literally haven't been updated in that long. It's been so long. Okay. Yeah, we need to upgrade the map, so it's Outlaw Outskirts. And it looks like he's going Wood Elves. So Wood Elves is going to be the pick. So the hardwood is here. I'm excited to get a Wood Elf game. Wood Elf Beastmen is an iconic one, too. An iconic one. Pone saying he's picking the wrong elf factions. Dude, if he picked High Elves, he would get karate chopped in the neck so bad. You remember those Mad TV skits where Steven Seagal just like snaps everyone's wrists and neck? That would basically be like the High Elves getting just snapped by Steven Seagal. Yeah, absolutely, it'd be rough. All right, so a fun match. This is going to be a wild one. Evenstar on Beastmen and Hadri's on the Wood Elves. Classic Warhammer 2, just 20 minutes between games, but it is what it is. After the Chaos Warriors rework, I bet Norska is next on the block. I 100% agree. Dude, imagine if Creative Assembly does a Norska DLC. They add like a legendary lord, and then they add a second free one, which is Sirtha Ek, and he's just like this super jacked chariot lord. Oh, that'd be so cool. Loved Mad TV, dude. It was very funny. It was very funny. Jerthu incoming? Yeah, it could be a Jerthu blob for sure. You know what one of the most obnoxious ways to play Wood Elves is in this matchup? Is you go with Durthu, you go with like a couple infantry units, a second tree man, and then you just mass Glade Riders like bows. That's it. That's it. It's wild for sure. Not enough horse archers and ogre. I don't think ogres can ride horses. Probably crush them. I'm going to go get some water real quick. I'll be right back, and we'll get this match started shortly. All right, guys. Stocked up on water. H2O, baby. It's what plants crave. And we are all set. Looks like Evenstar is ready with the build. He's good to party. Who would win, Steven Seagal versus Predator? The thing is, the Predator almost always loses in the movies because he's just the villain. But like, if neither Steven Seagal or the Predator, dude, imagine if he was in that. Imagine Steven Seagal just doing like a haggard Aikido throw and just like throwing the Predator like over his back. Oh man, we're getting into these kind of. This is how you know the stream's getting late, when we start devolving into these discussions. Is Draika good in MP? Yeah, Draika is very good. Mm-hmm. She's better. Yeah. Pendulum got nerfed in Warhammer 3, so she probably won't be quite as good. But summoning Dryads is very strong, and she's a pretty good fighter too. So. I bet you, yeah, they're gonna add. There's a lot of stuff to add to the game still. Coconut, yeah, I've tried that stuff. It's okay. I mostly drink water. Yeah, that's mostly it. Water is my jam. Who would win, Predator or Chris Hansen? Nice, dude. Nice, that was a good one. Got me there. Yeah, good old Steven Seagal movies. Just the ultimate fraud. Steven Seagal, what faction would he be a legendary lord for? He'd probably be like some big Chungus Norskin warlord or something, yeah. Yeah, Predator's lore is great. They're like samurai hunters. Yeah, they're pretty cool for sure. What does Hadri's do here? Lost Sylvan Knights, you gotta be careful. Most Beastmen players will expect that, I think. But I like the Durthu, like haggard Durthu box. Like Durthu with like a second tree man and then just bring like a ton of Glade Riders. I feel like that's really obnoxious. No, I don't think Fae Enchantress needs to be nerfed in Warhammer 3. I think she'll be fine. There's some really strong characters in Warhammer 3, and she'll fit right in. Did you see the trailer for the new Predator movie? Yeah, I did. The premise is really interesting, but I don't know. I just wish they had been speaking the language of that time so I could get more immersed in it. That was probably my only criticism of the Predator trailer. I was like, I would have loved to have heard like a period, you know, accurate like language being spoken instead of just like, you know, like a California English, you know, accent. Like it's just kind of like that kind of turned me off to it a little bit. I was like, oh, the premise is so cool, you know, like seeing these Native American hunters hunting the Predator, like it's rad. But I just said like, oh, when I heard that, I was like, man. Yeah, Wood Elves and Domination will be very good, I think. I think they'll be very good. So will Beastmen. Beastmen have a ton of Vanguard infantry. And also really good monstrous infantry with spawn and minotaurs and things like that. So it was definitely dubbed. Yeah, I don't know. I was like, oh, they're apparently releasing a version with that. That's good. That's good. If they do that, I would definitely be a lot more interested. Yeah, if it was indeed dubbed, it sounded pretty terrible. Yeah, aspect of the Dread Knight is very good. Yeah, it gives you the magic damage you need. It does. Cast Steven Seagal as Morbius. Oh man, the depth to the memes is getting quite strong indeed. Yeah, perfect. Alrighty. We'll be starting any second, my friends. Don't you worry. Beastmen versus Wood Elves is a grudge match between the two factions. Yeah, certainly. It certainly is. You're saying I like the Predator movies, but they would never lose to a thing that can actually kill them. Yeah. I could see the Predator losing, like, you know, if he takes on, like, a large number of enemies, though. You know, because he's not coming in with the most advanced technology, right? Usually I think the Predators come in with, like, yeah, they come in with the good stuff, but obviously a civilization that advanced could come in with, like, stuff that the opponents would have no chances, but sometimes they come in with, like, less gear. Hey, Turin, what advice would you have for people that enter the world of Total War Warhammer multiplayer? So a big thing is heading to our Discord community and getting involved there, because the ladder for Total War Warhammer is, it's okay, but it's not the best spot, in my opinion, to get, like, good experience. It's much better now than it used to be, for sure, but it's more active, I guess you could say. But join our Discord. TotalTavern.com is our website. It should be in the description, and you get in there and just meet a lot of people, sign up for events. You know, there's a lot of good players in there, so you can ask questions pertaining to the matchups and the factions you want to play. Oh my god, Alien vs. Predator was so much fun. I love that movie. It's so haggard. My favorite scene in that movie is when the Predator grabs the alien by its tail and is, like, swinging it in circles like a WWE match. It's so stupid and so awesome. I love it. I love it, dude. Yeah, great times. All right, so this is a big game. Evenstar needs to win this one. Oh my god, Malagor the Dark Pigeon. I forgot all about him. So Malagor is going to be here with Pendulum and Enfeebling Foe to help win the SEM duels. The rest of the Bray herd is going to be Gores, backed up by Centaurs galore, throwing axes, and some hounds. I do think the Durthu Blob with masked Glade Riders would be very, very nasty here, but I'm quite curious to see how the Wood Elves are going to play this. Okay, so we got Firebark Elders. Oh yeah, buddy. They're going to be anchoring the Wood Elf formation, it looks like. Sisters of Thorn, Wild Riders, Glade Riders with Spears, Dryads, Flock of Doom Manticore Summoner, which is like a staple of Warhammer 2, and the Sisters of Twilight up in the sky. Interesting build. Interesting build. So Firebark Elders are just going to be anchoring with a couple Eternal Guard, probably in the trees. And the Wood Elves are going to be trying to skirmish, although these Deepwood Scouts could be in danger of dying very quickly. Sisters of Twilight probably just going to sit on either Manticores or on Malagor would be my guess. But this battle looks possible for either player to win, really. But it's just going to come down to the execution and micro, because these are two extremely, extremely micro-intensive builds. Tons of cav on both sides, a lot to manage. Both armies are relatively squishy. It is very scary for sure. That's weird, Jed like me. Well, I can look into it. Maybe shoot me you could still shoot me a message in Discord. So even if you're not on the server, just message me on Discord, and yeah, I'll look into it for you. I'll look into it. I don't know why that would be unless you did something naughty in there. The Wild Riders with shields on either side. Wild Riders with shields here as well. You should do videos on how to commentate esports. Dude, honestly, the biggest advice I can give to anybody who wants to get into, like, commentary stuff is just getting reps in, dude. Just reps. If you go back to my first videos on YouTube in 2016 or 2015 and look how terrible I was at commentary, like, it's a sign that, like, anybody can get there if they just put in the work. It's just repetition and time, dude. That's it. Yeah, just put in the reps. I mean, obviously, some people will be perhaps naturally better than others for a variety of reasons, but yeah, man, just repetitions, really. And just consistency and not giving up, you know? And really, you know, garnering the knowledge you need to be a good caster, right? Like, knowing more or less what everything does. There's a lot to it. There's a lot. But reps, reps, reps. Get that muscle memory. Centaurs, Warhounds, Harpies, and the bushes over here with a little bit of a Vanguard deployment. Beastmen very spread out. Wood Elves taking a little bit more of a consolidated position here. Just going to be having the Firebark Elders enjoying their best life in the trees, while the Sisters of Twilight most likely snipe Manticores. I would go after Manticores 100%, because I would also maybe have liked to have seen a Tree Man or something. I love the Tree Man pick. It's so funny. Beastmen are not like the highest leadership. They do have Frenzy, which, you know, helps out a little bit, but yeah, they can break for sure. So first shot from the Sisters. Immediately, Hadri's is going to be saving ammo. And on the flank, we do have Centaurs here. Sisters of the Thorn going to be hunting them down. Ooh, that would actually be a huge pick. If Hadri's is able to pick these Centaurs in the flank, I probably would have charged him with the Sisters of the Thorn, maybe. Yeah, and he's going to do it. So he's going to take the charge. Sisters will take a little bit of damage. No magic being used. Hadri should also probably pull these Glade Riders up there and help. Evenstar getting a little bit of decent value here for sure. But yeah, these, oh, there's a big Beastman ambush all over the place. Look at this. Wild Riders against Centaurs in the back, and Hounds are here as well. Huge fights in the backfield all over the place, and we do see a massive flank coming in from Evenstar. So Chaos Warhounds, Centaurs there, but Hadri's does get the better of this engagement. Obviously, Wild Riders will crush Centaurs in combat, and yeah, the Wood Elf mobility seems very strong here. Now, Hadri's needs to make sure he doesn't lose his Sisters of Twilight, because honestly, the game's going very well for him, but it looks like he's fighting Malagor. Look at this, Malagor versus the Sisters. That is an interesting duel, but the Enfeebling Foe helping out quite a bit. Now, as far as the rest of the fighting goes, the Sisters of Thorn able to chase the Centaurs off the map. We get Dryads moving up to fight. Swift Shiver Shards blasting the Centaurs with throwing axes. And yeah, now the Sisters of the Twilight need to run. The Wicked Witch of the Drakvald here is on the hunt. Malagor is chasing, but the Sisters should just be shooting from a distance. Now, the Wood Elves pulling back a little bit, tightening up their build. Here on the flanks, we do see a Wild Rider, which is going to be sacrificed to the gods a little bit. The Beastmen should be able to win this one with the Centaur flank, Harpies, as well as the Chaos Warhounds kind of crushing into this position. That's going to be a very nice catch for Evenstar. Pendulum coming down in the middle as well. Nice dodge there by Hadri's. Doesn't take too much damage in the process. Glade Riders have tar pitted the Feral Manticores. Harpies up in the sky, trying to cause some disruption, but Wood Elves cannot summon Manticores. That's right, they summon Great Eagles. But one of the Manticores here, oh look, the summons are battling each other. Warhammer 2, go, go. Just classic summons, just mashing against one another. The Wild Rider's holding pretty well here, but definitely going to be overwhelmed. There's just too many Beastmen here. Centaurs are actually quite hard hitting too, especially with their charge on. And will the Wild Riders hold -5? 2 leadership just barely holding on. The Harpies, of course, have pretty good DPS as well. Up in the sky, we do actually see Malagor in a little bit of danger, but Hadri's has the wrong fire mode on. He needs to switch to the single target fire mode if he wants to snipe Malagor out. The Wood Elf's able to get a pretty massive route over here, breaking the summoned Feral Manticore, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's the real one. Oh, shit. And, yeah, continuing to use the Sisters of Twilight to shoot into Centaurs. I really think he should have the single target mode on the Malagor for sure. A little bit of pursuit coming in over here. The Beastmen trying to move their way through. Firebark Elders being an annoying roadblock, just blocking up some basic spearmen. Wood Elves kind of repositioning to engage here. Spears moving across. And I would imagine these Ungor Spearmen will be in a little bit of danger soon. Glade Riders hunting down the throwing axes. Pretty cost effective. I don't think they have shields though. Yeah, they do actually have shields. They have 15. 15 armor only though, so yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter since they're hard armor piercing anyways. One Manticore does rampage here, and the Sisters of Twilight are now shooting what appears to be a real Manticore, and this must be a summoned one. Where can I tell which one is the summoned Manticore? It's like, I've seen 3 Manticores, but Malagor does have a Manticore summon, if I'm not mistaken, or someone does. Am I crazy, or did we see 3 Manticores? Okay, maybe neither of them died yet, so I could be a little bit off. Granted, we'll see it in the post-battle screen. You can't have 3 Manticores, it's against the rules, but... Spears shanking down this Manticore. Big fight in the bushes as the Eagles descend from the skies. Sisters of Twilight juking pretty well, putting some good hurt on these units. The Beastmen army looking pretty angry though. There's a fair amount coming in. Firebark Elders are going to be a pain to kill though. If they can unify, if the Firebark Elders had been here with the rest of the army, that could have been really good. But look at the Eagle. The Eagle comes down and swoops in and takes down the Manticore right there. Very, very nice. Very nice gooning by that Eagle. And the Sisters of Twilight are continuing to put some serious pepper here into Malagor the Dark Omen. Beautiful shots. Although they're still in spray fire mode. Uh-oh. A little bit risky landing the Sisters on the ground. If the Beastmen could get us around with Hounds or Centaurs, that could be very, very disastrous, to say the least. We do have the Wild Riders over here. Looks like there's a handful of them. Going to be trying to surround on top of this bad boy. And the Firebark Elders are now marching back to the battle. More spray fire shots coming in from the Sisters of Twilight downtown. Able to actually break those Centaurs with throwing axes. And it seems the Wood Elves are slightly ahead in this game. Because the Beastmen have a weird bug where they're always like super scary in the bounce of power. But when the Wood Elves are this like, even like in a state of advantage here, I would say that they're probably a little bit more cozy. And yeah, Firebark are going to be a nightmare. Granted, there are 2 Centaurs with throwing axes here. Maybe they could do some work. The other Manticore does get broken. But it seems like Hadri's is winning this fight very slowly. Although landing that Sister of Twilight on the ground, I can't help but think that that's a big blunder. That thing should be up in the sky using all of its ammo before it kind of takes these risky engagements like this. Like Malagor could have potentially came in and finished off the Sisters of Twilight right here, which I think right now we're going to see. Yep, yeah, they see it. Oh, she's going to get sniped now. She could have potentially just finished off Malagor here, but now the Beastman army smells blood in the water and is going to be diving in on the Sisters of Twilight. So she gets a little bit of a shot there. Flock of Doom will probably come in as response. Wood Elves do have some Eternal Guard. Wild Riders have come back. Big Flock of Doom is going to be kind of punishing the blob a little bit. It hits the Gore Herds, it hits the Centaurs here, but the Sisters of Twilight have fallen, which may potentially be a throw here, and the Beastmen do take over the game. What a scrappy back and forth there. I felt like with the Sisters up in the sky, maybe, but yeah, now, you know, everything's going to kind of start falling apart for the Wood Elves a little bit. We do have the, what appears to be a Spellsinger down there. Yep, so not a Branch Wraith. And that is GG. Man, what a crazy match. What a crazy match. Yeah, so if Hadri's had the correct fire mode on, I think he wins that one. Because Malagor probably would have died. He was on spray fire for a lot of it, which was good against Centaurs and not Manticores, Centaurs and infantry, but Malagor could have died a long time ago, which would have really affected the leadership of the Beastmen army. GG, dude. Well played by both guys. That was a really scrappy match. So now it is 2-2 in the grand finals here. And let us go ahead and take a look at the picks and bans for game 5. A triumphant moo indeed, yes. A very, very triumphant moo. So let's switch here. Game 5, man. We get a rubber match. Who would have thought? And now it's going to be the swamps, I think. What is it called? The marshes. It's something swamp. Let me go ahead and find it. So looking up, it is Mosquito Swamps. Mosquito Swamps is a pretty good map. It's a classic one. It is a classic. Mosquito Swamps. And good. Game 5, baby. Game 5. Dude, I thought Wood Elves were kind of starting to take over that game a little bit. But, you know, Sisters of Twilight getting karate chopped on the ground was a little bit too much. So just got to set up a couple things. Cool. So 2 and 2. Now we are in the Now we are in the game 5. Alrighty. So Hadri's wins that easily with, yeah, I mean, actually Eltharion probably would have won that because he could have just Tempested the other character here. So let's go ahead and switch this over to the picks and ban screen, and we will hang out until it is time for them to battle. 2-2 series, guys. Rubber match. $50 on the line. Big money. Big money. Thank you guys for the donations today. It does help me pay these prize pools out of pocket. So thank you so much. This has been good though, man. It's been a really good match. Good series. Very dominant games from Hadri's in the first 2, and then Evenstar played very well in the next 2. And this is what, you know, multiplayer is all about, man. These really close matches. This is where you pick the most OP unstoppable faction. Norska. Is that what everybody thinks is going to happen? Norska's going to come in with the W? Ooh, man. Dwarfs game 5. Dwarves are more of a counter pick. I wouldn't first pick Dwarves, but the winner has to pick their first 3. So Evenstar will do his now. Okay, so they can, of course, check that out on the Tavern while we wait for the old picks and bans here. Lizardmen got played today, yeah. Lizardmen got played. They did very, very well for themselves. I wonder if Tempest is getting a light nerf in 3. I think it'll be good. I think Tempest will probably stay the same. It's a good spell, but in domination mode, now that you can land on the ground Lich, it's not as bad. Because you can land, I think, if you're on the ground, Tempest doesn't damage you. So if you see it coming, you could potentially land on the ground. Yeah, I'm not sure, though. Win with Norska to send a message. Norska versus High Elves, the ultimate just shit faction battle. I love it. Bring it on, man. Bring it on. Yep, haven't seen anything yet, so they're clearly scheming. This is game 5. This is for all the marbles here, so. The return to Warhammer 2. The return to Warhammer 2. Let's get the Chaos Dwarves in here. Just bring only Hell Cannons and just march with the Chaos Dowie. I could see a Skaven pick from Hadri's. Like, we've seen Vampire counts. Although, the only thing is Evenstar I don't think has played Greenskins yet. So, but Hadri's will get a ban here, if I'm not mistaken. He will get a ban. Tempest got a heavy nerf for Warhammer 3. Okay. I didn't know that, so. Skaven versus High Elves is actually a fun matchup. High Elves can do okay against Skaven. Bolt Throwers are okay. Rangers don't trade terribly. Shadow Warriors are really good at gooning a multitude of targets. We haven't seen Bretonia yet today either. No Bretonia on the menu. No Bretonia on the menu. Okay. So for game 5, the winner of round 2 will pick 3 factions. Yeah, so I need to... The players have a question about the picks and bans real quick, so let me just go ahead and switch back to this. And I'm going to just pull the rules from the Tavern, and... I mean, all the descriptions are on the Tavern of how to do it, so... Okay, so for game 5... So Evenstar will pick 3. Perfect. All right. Cool. So now they are going to do their business. We'll head back to the picks and ban screen. Sorry about the screen of doom. I don't know why it's not picking up the game. It's weird. When I minimize, it just like kind of closes it out. Good luck. Have fun. When will they fix Slaanesh for Mortal Empires? What? No, there's not. Slaanesh is very good. I don't know where the Slaanesh, saying they're not a good faction comes from. I think they're very, very strong. I think they're very, very strong. The Fey Double Paladin blob. Oh, you can bet your butt it's coming back. I'm sure the Fey Double Paladin will be very, very strong. I'm sure that'll be great. So Evenstar will pick 3 here. And then he will ban 1. And their opponent will ban 1 of the 3 picks and then pick their own. Perfect, perfect. So Thorfindel says, as somebody with no experience with Warhammer at all, it's a bit overwhelming. Would it make sense to get Warhammer 3 and to start going through the campaign? Yeah, it depends. How urgent are you in playing the game? Because honestly, if I were you, I would wait for the Immortal Empires to come out. I would just wait, and which is only going to be like a little bit over like a month and a half, give or take. And then I would get that, and I would go. Yeah, I would do exactly as you said. Get Warhammer 3, start the campaign. That's going to teach you the basics of how to move units around and how to like aim at things and use your magic. And yeah, go from there. But because right now it's like, I mean, you could get it now but like, I think you're going to have a much better first impression if you just wait for the Immortal Empires to come out. Show the map, please. The map is Mosquito Swamps. All right, cool. Player just had some questions about the map and everything. Warhammer 3 is recommended for me for its yeah, Warhammer 3 does have a good tutorial too. It has the epilogue, yeah. You can play Age of Empires until then. Just wait for the Immortal Empires, dude. You're going to be so much happier. Yeah. And also it would be nice if Creative Assembly like made like Warhammer 1 and 2 like, I don't know, like really severely discounted or also free so people could get those factions. I think that'd be really nice. It'd be very nice for sure. Evenstar says you might be having some problems seeing the map. Let's see. We might have to make a new lobby, but I have the map selected and I do see it, so. What do you guys have here? Rejoin lobby even. All right, so the player's just going to rejoin the lobby real quick. Should be able to see it. Evenstar kind of sitting ponderously on the Greenskins, who are a powerhouse faction. Although we haven't seen his coast yet, which is obviously very strong too. Turin doesn't know. He's never played the prologue. That's true. I actually never played it, but I've heard good things about it. I don't really play a lot of campaign. It all seems quite pricey. It does. But what I would recommend for you, Thorfindel, is find factions that you really like the flavor and lore. And honestly, dude, with Game 3, like, you'll have all the Game 3 factions. You'll have 7 playable factions. 6, really, because Cathay sucks so bad. But you'll have 6 factions that will probably be pretty good going into multiplayer with. So you could just, like, focus on those and learn them, and then you can slowly expand as you, like, see other factions you like. That's what I would recommend. Honestly, dude, it would be a really big power play by CA would be to make Warhammer 1 and 2, like, free. Like, you still have to buy the DLCs for different factions, sure, if they want to keep their profit, right? But, like, making Warhammer 1 and 2 free would just be huge. That would just be a huge W for everyone. I don't see that happening, though. I don't. So Evenstar scrolling through his factions, trying to decide, because he's on the pick here. And in my experience, these two gentlemen do take some time to do their picks there. They're very calculated, which is fine. I think that Cathay will be worse than Dwarves, and I think that High Elves might be worse than Dwarves too in domination. I don't know. It's hard to say. Cathay is going to be the worst, though, hands down. Until they get some fixes or buffs. Like, if formation attack suddenly becomes really strong, then that could all change. Will there be another Immortal Empire? Oh, dude, there's going to be so many head-to-head streams once we get Immortal Empires. Yeah. free Demons of Chaos. Yeah, Demons of Chaos, we've considered kind of making them playable in tournaments for Immortal Empires. Yeah. We'll see. We'll have to see. I wonder if people would play them. Probably. The Haggard Demons of Chaos. So, everyone's going to do Empire. Empire is probably going to be the most played faction for sure. Like, hands down. Vampire Coast, do you think so, Kane? Yeah, Vampire Coast. Evenstar is a very good Vampire Coast player. He's very, very good with them. So I can see that happening. Labadimir says, Turin, I'm glad CA is still sponsoring some tourneys. I was worried they were getting more hands off. No, they're not. They're getting more involved in multiplayer, actually, because they actually put time in to develop a multiplayer game mode, which is, like, pretty rare. Like, not rare, but uncommon. Like, that's brand new. And hopefully that'll be the precedent going forward. You know, someday when we hopefully get the 40K Total War, hopefully it'll have a sweet multiplayer game mode. And, you know, Domination mode is really good for 40K, actually. Because in Warhammer 40K... in tabletop is an objective game. Like, obviously you can just annihilate your opponent, but it's very much objective based. So I think you could just honestly take domination mode and just port it over to Total War Warhammer 40K and you're good. You're good. Like, it's going to be great. Professor Pone says, I would gladly lose with Demons for your tourneys. All right, brother. I'll take you up on that. I'll take you up on that. Dude, Evenstar just scheming in the shadows here, dude. Grimgore and Domination, just his giant axe, just going deep on those objectives. It's happening, man. Let's see. Yeah, it's the DLC and the games. It can be tough to get into for sure, and that's like a big problem with RTS in general. That's it's one of the reasons why I'm so excited for Frost Giant Studios and their game, which is the Stormfront or Stormgate. Yeah, I'm really excited for that. They've said, like, I know a lot of people had concerns of like a free-to-play RTS that, oh, you're going to have to, like, you know, there's going to be a huge pay-to-win system and everything, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Frost Giant has specifically said that they're not going to do that. The monetization of that game will probably come down to what's it called? Like, you know, aesthetics, which I don't care. That's fine. Like, aesthetics, whatever. As long as it doesn't affect my, like, balance, you know, that's that. What's the prize pool for this tournament? $50. $50. It's not like super small, but it's not like huge. Usually tournaments on average my tournaments are between $50 and $100 for prizes, which I just pay for out of pocket based on donations from you guys and stuff. I did see the Starship Troopers RTS, but I have no interest in it because it's single player. You know, it's single player. So, you know, if I get my hands on that game, I'll play for a couple hours. I'll figure out how to just crush the AI nonstop, and then I'll lose interest. It's like, it's too easy to just beat the AI in those games. Did you see the Frost Giant, Grubby interview the Frost Giant devs? It's on his channel. Yeah, I think I saw a little bit of his. They've been interviewing all over the place, those guys. I would happily do an interview with them as well. Like a live one with all of you so we could like ask questions. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, we'll see. We will see. Yeah, Total War is like a very niche RTS. It's very, very different. Okay. Evenstar and Hadri's. All right, so for Evenstar, we have the picks. The hype is here. It's going to be Greenskins. It's going to be Wood Elves. Very good factions. And it's going to be Skaven. And he is banning Chaos from Hadri's, which is a smart ban for sure. So that is Evenstar's selection of factions. And now we are going to be seeing what Hadri's will ban. So Hadri's gets to ban one of the three that he's picked. And then he will pick a faction to face off against the remaining two. And that will be that. Slanesh Batsu here. What's a good RTS to get started on? Bill, I need to know more about you. Like, what is your gaming history? Like, I mean, I think in terms of art, like, are you looking for more of a classic RTS game with base building? Are you looking for a hybrid RTS game like Company of Heroes, Dawn of War? Give me some more details about you, Bill, and make sure to tag me again so I see your answer. And then I can give you a little bit more feedback on that. I'll totally do an interview with the Frost Giant guys. I don't even know how to get a hold of them. I messaged them on Twitter and said, hey, I'd love to work with you guys. And they're like, sounds good. We'll contact you sometime. I'm like, all right. But I would love to work with them. They seem like good people for sure. Yeah, buddy. That's what I'm talking about. Dude, Matthew in chat, just Norska all day. Norska wouldn't be good here. Like, Norska gets crumped by Greenskins. Norska probably gets smashed by Wood Elves. And Norska might have a chance against Skaven, but Like, he's not going to pick Skaven into that. He is not going to pick Skaven into that. Just not going to happen, dude. Not going to happen. Command and Conquer. Yeah, StarCraft's a classic, but StarCraft is a little bit of a hard one to get into, for sure. It's very competitive. Like, as a new player getting into StarCraft, like, StarCraft's more of like a veteran's RTS game, I would say. Just play Balloon Tower Defense, yeah. Bretonnia banning Greenskins could actually be a very strong pick here. A pretty damn strong pick. Yeah, Bretonnia banning Greenskins is actually good. I don't know if Hadri's is good at Bretonnia, though. I think he is. Because Bretonnia is pretty good against the hardwood, and they're also solid against Skaven. Depends on the map. Pretty even with Skaven, I would say. Turn, if my gaming history is purely leisure, what RTS would you recommend me getting into? Man, it's tricky. There's so many variables, because it's like, some of the RTS games I might recommend are very old. I always thought Warcraft 3 is pretty like fun, because you get like a hero, and it's like, you have less things to manage. Like in Warcraft 3, you're only managing like 5 or 6 units at a time in the early game, right? Age of Empires, I feel, is a really kind of a harder one to get into, but I think it's a good time. Here's what I would say. For those of you guys who want to get into Age of Empires games, or excuse me, RTS, get into Age of Empires 4. It's new, it's being heavily supported. It's hard to play, but you can just get on there with some friends and do like 2v2s and 3v3s. That's a really good way to do it. So I would highly recommend Age of Empires 4. I love that game. It's really fun. Total War is like more of a hybrid experience, so it takes a little bit more of a particular flavor. Hey, thank you for the donation coming in from Badger. Great to see a Warhammer 2 tourney. Hey, man, it's good to have you here. Thank you for the donation, and hopefully you are enjoying this bad boy. Okay, I have no idea what that is. Yeah, makes sense. All right, so Dark Elves banning Greenskins. Nice. Nice pick there. Hadri's going back to one of his old classics. So, Dark Elves banning the Greenskins. Perfect. I think AoE 4 is a really good one to get into. Wait, has he selected Greenskins? No, that's the ban. Okay, so the ban is Greenskins. Okay. And then we do not have the faction pick yet. So Greenskins are banned. It's either Wood Elves or Skaven. I feel like Wood Elves absolutely wreck Dark Elves. Is it just me? Is it just me? All your homies hate playing Total War with you? Yeah, you gotta join our Discord. Come join the party. The Dark Elf pick here seems risky. I feel like Dark Elves get wrecked by Wood Elves. But, I mean, Hadri's must have something up his sleeve to do this pick. So we got Dark Elves versus Wood Elves here in our Duel of Fates. This is game 5. This is a rubber match, man. It's for all the marbles. Either way, both these players are champs. Put on a great showcase today. And I'm here for it. I'm hyped. All right. So Wood Elves versus Dark Elves. Thank you so much for that donation again. Dude, Hadri's had a build saved for this, dude. He's ready. He just whipped out that build. He's good to go. Evenstar's probably a little bit suspicious. Wood Elves stomp Dark Elves. Yeah, they do. Yeah, see, everybody in chat who's played, I see Malverde, I see Loopy, all these like Warhammer 2 guys are just like, yeah, no, that's not good. Yeah, Warcraft 3 is, I think, a little bit more beginner friendly. Dude, I am very surprised by the Dark Elf pick. This is a very Chad move from Hadri's. If Hadri's manages to win this, I will be mega impressed. I will be mega impressed. Hey, thank you for the donation there, Nepo. He says, as a Warhammer tabletop player, this game has been tough for me as I had to forget much about the tabletop version. Thanks for what you do. Hey, Warhammer 3 is more similar to tabletop because you have objectives. Well, it depends on which like mode. Are you playing like what edition of fantasy? Are you talking about 40K? Are you talking about fantasy tabletop? It's all different, but yeah, Reforged sucks, but apparently Blizzard is releasing a patch for Warcraft Reforged, which is crazy. It's actually happening. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Age of Empires, Warcraft 3, those are both good ones to start with if you're new to the genre. Age of Empires 4, I can't recommend enough. I think it's really fun. And, you know, just watch build order guides. You know, you can even watch my streams and see what I do in the beginning and just copy paste it. And, you know, I'm not like the highest level, but, you know, I'm pretty high level in it. All right. So, looking here at the Druchii army, I more or less know what the Wood Elves are going to bring. This is what I'm curious about. Coldwood Knights, you know, they can trade effectively against Wild Riders and Dark Riders, or Wild Riders and Glade Riders. They have armor and anti-large, and, you know, they do their thing. A little bit slow, though. They only have 66 speed, so Velociraptors cannot run as fast as these horses. Dark Riders, Bleak Swords, Dread Spears, and Malekith on foot. Foot Malekith. What the hell? Oh my god. Okay. And for the Wood Elves, it's going to be an Ancient Tree Man with Earthblood. It is going to be a combination of Spears and Dryads. Dryads typically outtrade against the Druchii frontline pretty well. Glade Guard, Way Watchers in the back, double Wild Rider, and double Waystalker. Yeah, you see, I'm just like, I can't see how the Dark Elves win this. I guess Scourge Runner Chariots can run over infantry pretty effectively, and they can also snipe the Ancient Tree Man, potentially. A lot of it will probably come down to the play of the Scourge Runner Chariots. This is a matchup that has always been favored for the Wood Elves. For the longest of times. Maybe not before. Maybe before the Wood Elves got their DLC, it wasn't so bad, but... Is it Foot Malekith, or is he on a Velociraptor? Yeah, he's on foot. He's got a silver shield. I would imagine just Soul Stealer? Soul Stealer and Gaze of Malice. If looks could kill, oh wait, it turns out they can, yeah. I love the tooltip there. Alright, guys. Malekith is coming. He's got his silver shield. Malekith, I think, is a super cool looking character. He's basically Warhammer Fantasy's Darth Vader. If you look at him, he's just like... Every time I look at Malekith, I just get like, I'm like, God, do you know how annoying it would be to paint all that trim on him? That would just be such an obnoxious process. The Wood Elf army, you know, really going to have to make sure that those Wild Riders can't just like hammer these infantry. You're going to have to be using the Cold One Knights to kind of screen their movements. Scourge Runners can snipe potentially the Ancient Tree Man. I mean, they also can do okay against the Waystalkers too. The Waystalkers, I think, are here to snipe Bolt Throwers. That's why you bring them. To use Arrows of Kurnus probably to snipe Bolt Thrower units. Alright guys, let us know in chat. Who do you think is going to win this Duel of Fates? Will it be the Great Hadries or the Warhammer 2 World Champion, Evenstar, in a 2-2 series? It has begun, my friends. It has begun. Aerocrastic rooting for his clanmate here. Very nice little formation here. What do we have? Glade Riders, Glade Guard. Ooh, Glade Guard. Dryads are just such a good unit against the Bleak Swords and Dread Spears. They have the physical resist, typically hit pretty hard and trade pretty well into those units. A little bit vulnerable, like I said, though, to being run over by chariots. They certainly will not enjoy that. The Scourge Runners do not have good AP with the chariots, but they do have it with the bows. So yeah, you don't really need much AP in terms of chariot specs for running over the Wood Elf army. The big tree, I think he's just going to be Earthblooding. Yeah, just casting Earthblood probably on the Eternal Guard and Dryads. Most likely Wild Riders are going to be the priority target for that. But the Druchii advance on, led by the Witch King himself. I mean, guys, we do have the Witch King after all. If this was a lore situation, if this was lore, the Dark Elves would probably smash this army. Because plot armor, Malekith is just super OP in lore. And he would probably just, you know, Darth Vader force choke this entire army. Now, the Waystalkers don't really have great targets. What they're going to want to shoot is chariots. So Arrows of Kurnus going to go after the chariots back here. Dude, the angling on those is so weird. So one Arrow of Kurnus kills one Cold One Knight. Talk about good value for the Druchii. As the Dark Elf Cab does move up a little bit behind the front line here. These are Way Watchers. Way Watchers trying to snipe Malekith, but Malekith has a silver shield. So this is probably a happy situation for Hadri. He's probably okay with this. He's like, ah, that sounds good. You can shoot at Malekith all day. That is going to be good. Now, the build is moving up. Hadri's has got the Bleak Swords pressing in. Scourge Runner Chariots putting a little bit of hurt actually into the Way Watchers. Have killed 4 models so far. Malekith eating those shots like an absolute Chad. And he's going to be able to Soul Stealer that damage back, no problem. But again, will the Dark Elf front line trade effectively into the Wood Elf front line with the presence of the Ancient Tree Man? That, ladies and gentlemen, is the question. No repeater crossbows either. I expected maybe 1 or 2. Just to kind of keep it honest and maybe put a little bit of hurt on the Ancient Tree Man. But Scourge Runner Chariots do Slam Jam, Space Jam into the Eternal Guard here. Probably going to want to pull those back pretty quickly. Hadri's does take a bit of damage, but he's able to retreat. Malekith is on his way in. And now the Bleak Swords engaging with Dryads. Cold One Knights, where are they going to go? They need to get active. Hadri's needs to be really on point with his Cold One Knights if he wants a good chance of winning this game. Here are some of the Bleak Swords advancing through. And yeah, we got engagements in the front. Malekith going to be going after the Ancient Tree Man. Dark Riders looking to kind of scream in here, maybe support some of the Bleak Swords. And more Dark Riders in the backfield going to be hammered by spears. So Evenstar with a really nice tactical retreat here gets a lot of his units back. Hadri's may just lose some of these cav to some spear units, which is very, very unfortunate. But the first Soul Stealer is going to be going down. And the Scourge Runner Chariots are actually doing quite good. They're just sitting, using their anti-large shots to wear down the Tree Man. He also gets hit with that. And it's going to be responding with an Earthblood or an Awakening of the Wood. Okay, that's what she said. Awakening the Wood. And yeah, Cold One Knights not finding great engagements. Wild Riders have been really, really held in kind of the dreaded tactical reserves. But the Dark Elf Infantry Corps is actually doing very well. Bleak Swords breaking through the Eternal Guard in the front. More and more Bleak Swords pushing in. And Murderous Prowess should be proccing off here relatively soon as we start to see some Casualties piling up on the battlefield. It does take a little bit of time. But Scourge Runner Chariots are actually eviscerating the front line, but you got to make sure they don't get hit by those trees. Coldwood Knights get a square engagement backed up by the Witch King into these Wild Riders here. So this is going to be a good engagement for the Dark Elves, most likely. Granted, there is some fire support in the back, Way Watchers, but overall, it seems like the Dark Elves are trading pretty evenly. Evenstar, though, getting some nice flanks here. Beautiful play by Evenstar. Really, really nice. He gets those Wild Riders, hammers into the back of the spears. Terrified at the moment because of the Ancient Tree coming in, but that was a beautiful Wild Rider sandwich. Very, very nice. But most of the forces are committed to the battle. Evenstar with a beautiful spell right here, able to hit those Bleak Swords. And the Dark Elves just keep pushing. Coldwood Knights still very healthy. Chariots, nice play right here. So the Chariots do Space Jam into the Glade Guard here. Although I think the Way Watchers are still active. I think they're still back here somewhere. But Hadri's does get some Coldwood Knights on them, and most likely will be able to compromise the missiles, so it's going to be mostly a melee-focused effort on both sides here. As far as like big units that both sides have left, Coldwood Knights, a couple Scourge Runner Chariots are pretty active here. The Dark Elf Infantry line is trading much better than I expected, and yet another Soul Stealer going down. So the Witch King needs to get busy too. He's kind of just standing here, just, you know, standing very menacingly, which is a very villain thing to do, but he needs to get in and go work on that Ancient Tree Man. And there he goes. So Malekith now going to be making his way in. Scourge Runner Chariot's a little bit beat up. Nice countercharge coming in from the Coldwood Knights, but Evenstar pulls back. Both these players really showing some excellent micro here in this duel. Although the Coldwood Knights, if they get rampaged into the spears, that would suck. But it looks like the spears are kind of breaking due to the pressure from the Bleak Swords here. And the Witch King, once again, anchoring the formation here. Able to fight back and push the Eternal Guard back. Now he's foot hoofing it after the Ancient Tree Man here. We'll see if he can do the trick. In the front, Evenstar's formations are buckling. It seems like the Dark Elves are getting the upper hand in many of these engagements, which is pretty insane considering how rough of a matchup this is. Widely considered, but Hadri's is a Skaven and Dark Elf main. Those are his two loves, so he clearly is showing that he's really quite proficient here. Big charge as those Lancers just absolutely punish those Glade Guards, so they're going to be sent back to the Shadow Realm. And I think it's the beginning of the end for the Wood Elves, guys. I think that Hadri's is going to potentially win the rubber match here, as he's really pushing back these forces, and looking at what the hard wood have, they just don't really have that much. Ancient Tree Man is here, I guess, but there's just so many Druki everywhere. We have Dread Spears moving up, could easily shut down these Glade Guard. Malekith will probably defeat that Ancient Tree Man in combat. He's 65-55 and is quite a beast for sure. But the Ancient Tree Man, yeah, I don't know. I don't think his stats are high enough. Beautiful sandwich here. So Coldwood Knights do come in on the flank, able to really push in. And Wild Riders will not trade well against Coldwood Knights. They lack the armor piercing, unless you're talking about like the big boys, the RORs. You do have anti-large, mind you. But Malekith coming in for the killing blow. I think the Druki are going to be forcing army losses soonish. The Ancient Tree Man being surrounded by anti-large, and the Witch King moving in with his, I don't know if his sword has a cool name. I feel like it should. But Destroyer. No, is it called Destroyer, or is that one of his other items? Sotek's probably in chat. He can answer that. Ancient Tree Man getting an Earthblood. The Druki are just sweeping the battlefield of their more nature-focused cousins. The Coldwood Knights in the back pushing the Way Watchers off. And Malekith is just on the hunt. I don't really know what Evenstar intends to do by running here. You can see the Ancient Tree Man breaks. And with that, Hadri's wins the grand finals of today's Return to Warhammer tournament with the Druki. Into a counter match. Beautiful play. Hadri's is going to be winning the $50 cash prize, so congratulations to him. Well played to Evenstar. Evenstar was down 2-0. He kept good mental composure, I would imagine, and came back and won 2 games. But Hadri's comes in with the steel chair and is able to claim victory. So, there you have it. I think Evenstar was expecting like bolt throwers and more range, so he brought a build to deal with a range build. And then Hadri's just came with a full-on Dark Elf rush. Malekith obviously didn't do a ton of damage, but was a presence that had to be dealt with. Coldwood Knights, really good performance. Scourge Runners as well. You can see 930 here, 980, and 1414. Good old Destroyer. That's right. GG, well played! If you guys did enjoy the stream, please do drop a like. Let me know what you guys are enjoying, which content I should be doing more of, all that sort of good stuff. So, that is going to be a victory for Hadri's. A 3-2 over the Warhammer 2 World Champion, showing that he still got it. Both players do. And that will be it today. For today. Thank you guys all so much for the donations, all the good times. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you all. It's always good to go back to the classics. I can't wait for Warhammer 3 to get these factions because we're just going to have so much fun, dude. It's going to be so great to see all these guys back. It's so much fun to see. Hadri says, very GG to Evenstar. A tough set. It was indeed. Went all the way to the grand finals, the rubber match of doom. So thank you for the donations, guys. Really appreciate that. Thank you to a couple new members as well. We'll see you guys soon. Tomorrow, taking the day off, going out with the lovely wife. We're going to go have some fun. And we'll be back Sunday, Monday. I'm not sure. Maybe Sunday's off too. We'll have videos every day, so don't worry. You won't be alone. I even have a video of Cathay doing well against Nurgle, which I know it's hard to believe, but it could perhaps be a reality. Who knows? It's a very fun build. All right, guys. Adios. Do widzenia. Get some rest. More Cathay blimps. Hey, it's on the horizon, man. The Cathay blimps of doom will be menacing indeed. Really cool build, though. I always love seeing the big legendary lords. Like, it's super, super fun. No, Optimus, I got a jam right now. I got a jam, brother, but thank you. Hadri saying Dark Elves has a solid chance against Wood Elves. Well, you certainly proved it, and you proved it against a very good player, so clearly there's a little something there. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. See you next time. That is it for today. Sigmar bless this Ravage stream, and that is it for now. Oh, God, I almost choked on water. Sigmar bless me. Oh, God, I'm dying. Take care, guys.